everything about life beyond the game.
For 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 everything about life
Beyond the game.
Visit SPIN.PH/life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
For everything about life.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. Visit SPIN.PH/life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game, visit SPIN.PH/life.
SPIN.PH/life.
Bam!
Good afternoon to our Spin readers. Welcome sa isang special edition ng Spin POV. Usually, Spin Zoom in tayo pag Thursday, but now we're going to have a special edition ng Spin Point of View dahil it's a beautiful day para sa ating mga basketball fans. We're just a few hours lang. Just last night, nanalo po ang ating national team, ang Gilas Pilipinas, laban sa ating Asian arch rivals, ang Korea. 81-78 behind that dramatic 3-point bank shot by SJ Belanghel. And ngayon pag-uusapan po natin, sobrang ganda ng usapan natin. I'm your host, Carlos Acamos, and it's my pleasure to be your moderator once again. Mamaya try daw ni Idol Snow Badwa na humabol at pabatiin mo natin ang ating the rest of our panelists for today. Randolph, kumusta ang coverage mo kagabi? Mukhang dami mo nasulat
Stress. Gusto ko mag-celebrate kaso lang ang bigat pa rin ng braso sa pakuna eh. But we'd also like to greet our viewers. Good afternoon. And I hope masarap ang gising nyo kanina. I can say na ang saya ng tulog at ang saya ng gising nating lahat because it was a jubilant night. Sabi nga natin nung Tuesday, it's a developmental team, tempered expectations, pero sino ba namang hihinti sa panalo? And yung panalong makukuha mo pa against Korea. So yan yung tatalakayan natin today. At sali lang kayo sa kwentuhan po natin sa comments and subukan nating basahin yan. Dahil kumbaga medyo celebratory mood tayo ngayon eh. Back to you, Kuya Card.
Salamat, Dolph. Next, si Ruben Trado, our lead correspondent. For our readers, kung nakikita nyo, nakaputi ako, naka-blue si Ruben at naka-red si Randolph. Hindi po namin to pinag-usapan Kumbaga siguro dahil lang talaga nanalo ang Gilas at nagkataon lang, magandang coincidence yung nangyari ngayon. So Ben, ba't ka naka-blue ngayon?
Alay, nagkataon lang kung ano na yung nabunot ko sa cabinet yun. Anyway, good afternoon po sa ating mga viewers sa Spin POV sa Facebook. Masayang usapan ito at pag-uusapan natin yung panalo ng Gilas. Sali po kayo sa discussion. Mag-comment po kayo sa ating chat box tsaka kung nanonood po kayo sa YouTube, doon po sa ating comment section, sumali na po kayo sa ating conversation. Carl?
Thanks, Ben. Next, one of our associate editors, Sir Jerry Ramos. Sir Jerry, mukhang may bisita tayo mamaya. Hindi lang, POV tayo nga, but we'll try to make this a mini Zoom-in episode with a few guests today. Sino ba sila, Sir Jerry?
It's a pleasure na pinaunlakan tayo ni Gilas Deputy Coach, si Coach Jong Wichiko. Despite the hectic schedule, alam naman natin ng national team natin. Actually, they will be watching the game between Indonesia and South Korea later. So, sabi niya, bago nila panoorin yung game, dito muna siya, mag-appear muna siya as one of our special guests for this edition of Spin POV. Yung isa, bahala ka na magpakilala, Carl. Siguro si Sir Dudes na.
Yes, sir. Sir Do, what can you say about last night's win? Siyempre, dumami ang page views ulit natin, sir, after a long drought of basketball games. Basketball action was back last night.
Mukhang hindi lang tayo nakamiss sa basketball, Carl. Lahat ng Filipinong basketball fans, and it's understandable, di ba? And what a way to di ba? What a way to welcome back basketball, di ba? Lalo na yan, si Snow Badwa, bagong gupit. Snow Badwa.
Hi boss, magandang hapon sa inyo. Kumusta kayo? I am very far from Manila.
Oo nga, mukhang ka. Na-miss ka namin ng Martes.
Oo nga sorry First time ko ma-absent kaya lang medyo nagpahinga muna tayo boss. Pero magandang araw po sa inyo lahat at yun nga masaya ang gising natin lahat because yung Gilas Pilipinas natin not only won, yun ang mahalaga dun hindi lang nanalo, but the team is showing immense potential. Yung potential po na yan mga kaibigan is marami silang ginulat, yung skeptics, yung mga kababayan natin mismo na sumusuporta sa kanila because even the odds are saying na matatalo tayo last night, but ang maganda po dun is pinatunayan ng mga bata. Kasi boss, gaya nga sinabi ko sa isang program kagabi, kakaiba yung ipinakitang legs, yung vigor, yung stamina, no, yung performance, and then youthfulness ng ating kupunan. Kaya po, dinaig nila ito pong Korea. And even the Koreans were caught pants down. No? They weren't expecting yung Gilas team natin. Maybe one is in-underestimate nila yung kupunan. And then secondly is that they did not expect na ganun sila ipe-pressure, no, sa defense sa defensive side ng ating kupunan. Ano? Yun talaga yung nag-spell ng difference doon sa panalo natin eh. Dahil imagine, the Koreans were poised to win the game, no, when they led by as high as 5 points, no, going into the last 2 minutes. But then again, yung mga bata, no, nagpakita na kahit mas veterano kayo sa amin, kahit mas experienced kayo sa amin, kahit pinahihirapan ninyo yung mga kuya namin, kaya namin kayong sabayan. And yun nga, isang malaking factor din talaga dyan is we have a 7'4" bean pole doon sa gitna. No? But nonetheless, we'll talk about Kai Soto later on. No? I-dissect din natin yung kanya naging performance and yung kanyang naging appearance for this team and yung halaga niyan o mahalaga ba o hindi na sana. No, we'll talk about that later. No? At kahit yung mga haters ko na hindi naiintindihan, sinasabi anti-Gilas daw ako. No, you're wrong. No? Na-misquote nyo lang ako. And then sinabi ni Pedro, ganito yung sinabi ko, nung nabasa ni Juan, iniba na naman ni Juan hanggang sa nabasa naman ni Sandro. No, ganyan yung nangyari eh. No, but mamaya na natin paliwanagan yan. Yung mga haters ko po, sige, atakihin nyo lang unang atakihin yung comment section namin. Wala ho kami pakialam sa inyo. Kasi the more na mag-comment kayo sa amin, the more na magalit kayo sa akin, i-repost nyo ako, mas sumisikat po ako. No, at, pero tandaan ninyo, mali po ang intindi ninyo sa mga sinasabi ko. Carlo?
Hawig mo nga raw si Betong eh.
Oo. Sabi nga nila eh. Pero okay lang naman sa akin yun. Wala naman tayong problema.
Bagong gupit ka, Snowbado ah.
Hindi, matagal na yan, boss. Lagi na ako nagsusumbrero, wala akong kabalak-balak mag-air. Bigla mo akong pinag-air.
Nasaan ka ba, Idol?
Sasabihin, buta baka abulin ng maraming mahabol na may utang dyan.
Bawal.
Hindi naman. O, yan lang.
Ganda
Mapunong lugar. Ayan. Mapuno. Di ba?
Sana all.
Yeah. Ikaw pa, boss do. Yaka-yaka mo to. May utang pa nga ako sa 30 mil eh.
Yan pala. Ang
Anyway,
ganda.
Ito na.
Pero ikaw, Carl, anong masasabi mo doon sa laro ka kagabi? Nakita ba natin yung potential o pwede maging flash in the pan lang to? Ikaw, boss Dodo, tingin mo, pwede bang flash in the pan lang to? O pwede ba nakachamba lang tayo kagabi? Or do you think this team is for real?
The program is for real. No? That I'm very 100% sure of. The program is for real. Yun naman talaga pinaka-ideal na pinaka-ideal na program sa basketball. If you want a national team program, you want a team that stays together for a long time. Ang nga lang dyan is palaging is it doable? Palaging ang question yan, is it doable under the circumstances, di ba? Like, may mga commitments sa mga mother teams, may mga ambition yan sa PBA, sa NBA, or now, with 30 and Kai, may mga overseas leagues, di ba? Ang question naman is yung doability, di ba? Is it doable? Diba? Palaging ganyan yan. But there's no question that a team that stays together, trains together under a very clear and definite program, it's mas magsasucceed talaga. And ang dyan is may Tab Baldwin ka. I think the biggest ace there is Tab Baldwin. There are still doubters there. Sabi nga ni Randolph, wala lang maging emotional to si Randolph. Kung mga may doubters pa kay Baldwin dyan, then I don't want to hear it, sabi niya. And that's true. Pag sa national game, malaking bagay siya. Tab Baldwin.
Kaya nga. Pero Carlo, pasensya ka na. I am on a limited minutes. No? Pero tanungin ko na si Boss Jerry. Boss Jerry, ikaw, sa tingin mo, ano yung naging, kung mayroong isang big factor, that's why we were able to own the victory last night, ano yun?
I think adjustment ni Coach Tab in the second half, no? Malaking bagay yun. We could have just went on and roll on and die over, no? Pero the coaching adjustment was very good. Doing damage in the first half, and I think Kai and Ange Kuwame did a good job of containing him. Makikita mo bandang huli parang pagod na rin si Ratliff, no? Wala na siya no. So
hindi kasi pre, yun nga yung sinasabi natin na yung fresh legs talaga ng mga young players natin di ba? Imaginein mo, partner, parang ang naglalaro doon yung mga may asawa na, may anak na, di ba? Naubusan na ng protina sa mga asawa nila, tapos yung kalaban nila mga collegiate, sariwang-sariwa pa, inahabol ng mga bakla. Di ba? Alam mo yung ibig sabihin? Di ba? Ganun yung dating nun di ba? Kaya yung mga medyo may edad, kaya maganda tong maganda tong sistema ng mga bata yung ginagamit. Kumbaga parang yung depensa, walang puknat di ba? Kung mapapansin mo, nasulas. Di ba boss, doon, suffocating defense yung in-employ nila doon sa final, sa fourth quarter particularly, di ba? Na nagulat. Tapos ang maganda doon, hindi nila ginamit ng first half yun. Di ba? So bigla nilang inilabas yung barahan nila, kaya nagulat. Tingin mo doon, Boss Ruben, tingin mo ba isa rin yung defense, tsaka yung isang may malaki tayong tao sa gitna?
Ako more than that, ako tingin ko ang key to victory din ng Gilas yung ikot ng tao ni Coach Tab. Parang napakaganda nung balasa niya. Parang every time na may dinalagay siyang 5, parang lahat nagde-deliver And that's a testament to the program of Gilas Pilipinas. Alam mo itong Korea, bata rin ito Kasi pwede natin sabihin yung Korea, bata din yan. But keep in mind yung Korean team is also rin yan yung mga batang players na yan. Naglaro din yan doon sa professional league nila sa KBL no. Kumpara sa atin I mean kung sila kasi syempre inamin naman to ng coach na hindi sila nakapag-training ng maayos because nga doon sa COVID. Comparing that to Gilas na yung mga players natin bukod sa collegiate players walang mga commitments sa professional teams and even sa college teams nila kasi wala actually parang din sila online learning kumbaga. So ang focus talaga nila parang almost dun sa training nila sa FIBA Asia. So I think that made a difference no yung kanilang yung commitment nila and yung pagiging focus nila dun sa game and dun sa programa. And that speaks loud dun sa programa nga ng Gilas na it works talaga, idol.
Alright, salamat. Pero ikaw, Carl, tingin mo ba nag-matter din yung matagal na inactivity ng Korea? Kasi even yung kanilang coach, di ba, admitted na wala sila talagang laro prior to the Gilas game. So, tapos hindi pa sila sumali doon sa second window, kung matatandaan mo, Carl.
Feeling ko yun rin yung isa sa mga reason yung naging complacent sila. And it showed, feeling ko it showed in the game mismo after they led Dasmania 17 ba yun in the first half. Feeling ko naging complacent na sila kasi kala nila they've been mastering parang they've asserted their mastery over the Filipinos the last few years and I think they thought they could run away with the victory in the second half. And sa mga Pilipino, marami rin nakakita or nag-isip na tapos na to by the halftime or 'di ba kung makita mo sa mga comment section. But again, the adjustments that Coach Tab made and parang yung adjustments that Coach Tab and the boys made the difference and yun parang spelled the difference na to run away or to turn the game around and pull off the escape act in the end game.
Talaga na sinabi mo, Carlo, sakling-sakli. Pero ito, tatanungin natin si Randolph. Randolph, tingin mo ba malaking bagay din na-scout na ng husto? Tingin mo ba yung scouting nitong grupo ni Coach Tab Baldwin naging maganda ring effect dun sa panalo natin? And apart from that, tingin mo nahirapan din yung Korea to scout yung mga players natin dahil normally hindi nila nakikita to di ba? Nasa mga collegiate league itong mga to. Tapos yung iba hindi pa rin lumalaro, di ba? Sa mga sikat na liga sa atin. So, kumbaga kalat ito no? Tingin mo ba malaking factor din yung scouting on both sides?
I'd have to agree, Idol. Although, ang kakaiba kasi, nakita natin na iba yung naging laro So, kumbaga, as much as na-scout ng Korea yung laro ng mga Justin Baltasar, ng mga Carl Tamayo, yan yung mga traditional na ang laruan dito, Bigs But, whereas yung laro nila kahapon, they were forced to play sa wings. They can scout an RJ Abarrientos, they can scout an SJ Pelangel. Pero kumbaga, individual scouting yun. Iba pa rin talaga na sama-sama itong team na to. It's a new system. First time nilang nagsama-sama in this sense na nilaro nila yung schemes ni Coach Tab. And siguro that's something that really caught itong Korea off guard. And siguro to piggyback to what Sir Ben said, feeling ko rin na malahibo ng konti itong Korea eh. Dahil nga sinasabi natin, hindi lang ho tayo yung merong batang lineup dito. Even Korea, ang pinakamatanda ho nila, si Ricardo Ratcliffe, karamihan po ng players nila dyan, 22, 23, 24, matanda na nga yata kung 27 eh. So kumbaga, as much as meron tayong pinanghahawakan na Korea has always gotten our number, karamihan ho doon sa mga naglaro sa kagabi, first time rin nilang maramdaman yung game ng Gilas in Korea. So as much as siguro history is writing on their minds, is playing on their minds, kakaiba pa rin ho sa kanila pagdating sa international. And ang magandang bagay ho, yung mga bata natin, yung mga kabataan na naglaro kagabi, were able to step up to the plate and seize the spotlight at hindi sila kinabahan. Oh, there were shaky moments. Hindi naman nawawala yan eh. But kumbaga, sabi nga natin, if you have a developmental team like this, I can't think of a better start than the win yesterday.
Isa pang magandang factor dyan, Randolph, is yung ball movement natin eh. Unlike yung mga pro players natin, pag sila lumaro, more on isolation, dribble. Kagabi, ball movement talagang, di ba, nakakalito rin sa depensa ng ating mga kalaban. Ano? But anyway, sir, banatan lang natin itong mga comments. Napakaraming comments eh. Ito yung mga nanggaling doon sa mga haters group ni Snow Badwa. Iisa-isahin natin sila. Okay. Sabi ni Alex Manguera, hypocrite daw ako. Lumayas na raw ako dito para maging maganda na yung kwentuhan. O, ganito yan, Alex Manguera. Padala mo yung resume mo, SPIN.PH, no? Dodo Katakutan at SPIN.PH.com, ha? Padala mo yung resume mo, tignan natin kung papasa ka, palitan mo ako dito, ha?
Oy, huwag ka namang kawain. Ganda-ganda ng panalo.
Yung sweldo ko 120,000 sa'yo na, okay? 120,000 per appeal. Actually, ayoko nga, tinatanggihan ko nga ito eh. Sabi ko, Boss Dodo, ayoko munang tumanggap ng 240,000 ngayong linggo. Kasi yung 120, tinanggihan ko na last time eh. Yung tapos sasabihin mo, mas matino ang kwento pag wala ako. Oh, wala naman tayo problema doon. Magagaling naman yung mga yan eh. Pero sinisiguro ko, hindi ka magaling pag naupo ka rito. Ha? Puro kayabang. Sasabihin mo pa, titirahin mo pa ako. Diba? Anyway, so ito naman, si Crisanto Leo Bukat. Dapat wala si Betong dyan. Todo bas noong lamang ang malaki ang Korea. Ito ho yan eh, no? Na-misinterpret nyo po ako. No, nag-post po ako nung isang araw. Ito, nililinaw ko sa inyo. Nag-post po ako nung isang araw na sinasabi ko, ba't natin pinasok si Kai? Pa-start na yung laro ni isang practice, wala yan. Di ba? And pangalawa, nagwo-worry ako more so para sa bata kasi unang-una, ang tagal po niyang nakulong sa kanyang hotel. Tapos bigla yung paglalaroin. Injury prone po siya. Sa ganun pong pagkakataon, tandaan niyo po yan ha, kinukondisyon ang katawan ng mga players bago po yan ilaro. Hindi po yan katulad ng ginagawa ninyo na laro lang sa kanto, no? Takbo lang dito, takbo lang doon. Ito ho, scientific yung laro natin. Isang malaking gamble yung ginawa po ng SBP on including ito pong si Kai Soto. Okay, fine. Maganda yung kanya naging performance kagabi. 18 minutes, 11 points, 7 rebounds, di ba? Ang dami niyang mga pinakitang magagandang moves that could show promise for him. Pero ang tanong ko sa inyo, kailangan ba siyang ipasok diyan ho sa torneo na yan? Yan ang tanong ko sa inyo, kailangan ba siya ipasok? Isang panalo naman kailangan natin. And we can get that against Indonesia this coming Friday. Pasok na po tayo sa FIBA Asia Cup. Di ba? Kasi ang akin dito is, why would you risk yung bata na potential natin na kumbaga, inaabangan nga natin yan para sa NBA eh, di ba? Gusto nga natin siya mapunta sa NBA, gusto nga natin siya maging bright. Alam niyo, mas nakaka-proud po pag nakapasok sa NBA yan si Kai Soto kaysa doon sa panalo natin kagabi. Tandaan niyo po yan. Pag nakapasok po si Kai Soto sa NBA at naging katulad po siya nila Nikola Jokic, no iba pa nga mga European players na mga matatangkad, sa tingin niyo po hindi tayo magiging proud? At pangalawa ho doon, pag nakapasok sa NBA si Kai Soto, no na-draft po siya sa first 10, no, sa first round, no, mga kaibigan, mas matindi po, mas malaki po yung kanyang kasigatan na matatamasa kaysa ho kay Manny Pacquiao. Yun ho ang tandaan. Yun ang iniingatan natin. Di ba? Kumbaga parang, ang dating dito, karera ho ng motor na mga wave, mga ano pa yung mga motor na mga mabababang klase, ginamitan nyo ho ng Ducati. Ganun yan eh. Di ba? So yung kahapon yung ipinakita niyang laro, oo, maganda yon. Kaso ang tanong natin dyan, how would he fare against the Iranians, against yung other mga taller countries, di ba? Yung katulad ng Australia, etc., na may mga malalapad na yung katawan. Inabot ng todong ba sa inyo yan? Siguro may point po kayo, sinasabi ninyo, piniprepare na natin siya para doon sa magiging laban sa Serbia. Oo. Pero dapat, di ba, ang point natin is, dahan-dahan natin siya i-break in. Bata pa yan, 19 anyos yan, ang buto po niyan, baka baka nga balahibong pusa pa yan eh. Di ba yun ang pinopoint out ko? Nasasabihin yung anti-national, anti-gilas ako? Di ba? Anyway, ikaw Boss Dodo, anong tingin mo doon? Ito, tarayin natin yung mga veterano natin. Si Ruben, Boss Dodo, and even ito si Jerry. Do you think it was necessary to fill in Kai Soto doon sa torneo na to? Boss Dodo?
I think it was a political move na, that Kai Soto was fielded in that game. Ang sinasabi mo is from a basketball standpoint, no, di ba? And I agree na it wasn't really a wise decision to put Kai out there in the first game. Kaya nung POV nga natin nung Dolph, remember, di ba? Sinasabi natin, he may not likely be played sa Korea game. Malamang ilaro siya sa Indonesia and the succeeding game against Korea. And I think that makes the most basketball sense, di ba? But I think the decision to field Kai in this game was a political one, di ba? One, tingin ko mababas. They realize that they will be bashed pag hindi nilaro si Kai sa Korea game. Two, I think Tab Baldwin is known as a strict disciplinarian, di ba? Pero I think over the years he also has learned to bend a little backwards, di ba? Pag kailangan, di ba? And I think this is Tab bending backwards to accommodate yung mga people sa SBP. And you know what? Ang pinakamaganda dyan, it worked out for the better, di ba? Maganda yung encouraging yung performance ni Kai and Gilas won. Yun, I think yun ang Ikaw, Je, what do you think, Je?
Ako, plain and simple, I just respect whatever yung decision ng coaching staff. I think mas silang mas nakakaalam diyan eh. Hindi naman natin alam kung ano yung nangyayari behind the team or who knows, baka na during the nakapag-practice din naman si Kai even for just a moment, di ba? Yung quarantine na 14-day quarantine. Is it ano nga ba na nasunod nga ba yung 14-day quarantine na yan? Kasi paiba-iba na ngayon ng di ba? May iba 10-day quarantine, may iba 7-day quarantine.
Saka may di ba? May mga pictures emerged that of Kai taking part in the di ba? In the Kalamba bubble.
Di ba?
So that tells you
and
nakapaglaro si Kai, nakapag-train si Kai.
Hindi naman nakapag-practice. So we don't know what's happening behind the scene. So ako ang ko lang doon, I respect the decision of the coach, although of the coaching staff, although I also we believe din doon sa ni Snow Badwa na dapat protektahan din natin yung kasi future din naman ni Kai yung nakasalalay diyan, and in general future na rin ng Philippine basketball.
Okay, salamat sa iyo, Jerry. Ito, may nag-comment dito si Alan Nunez, Coach knows best no. Ayan. So, sumasang-ayon siya sa sinabi ni Jerry, no? Okay, sige, Coach knows best, no? Pero may mga nangyayari kasi na hindi natin alam eh. One, 'di ba? Na-experience natin 'yan during the FIBA 3x3, 'di ba? So, halos ganyan din yung sentimento eh. Ako naman, no, before the game, iniwasan ko na kumbaga mag-commit ulit tayo ng same error as much as possible. Kumbaga parang ina-advise o kumbaga pinapayuhan na natin sila. 'Di ba? Na 'di ba baka gagaling lang natin sa 3x3, 'di ba? Kumbaga kung inilaban agad natin si Kai at na-injure kagabi, 'di ba? Katakot-takot na kumbaga turuan na naman tayo, sisihan, 'di ba? Alright, fine. No, a win is a win, ano? At malaking factor talaga sa gitna itong si Kai Soto, no? But then again, ang sa atin dito is siguro kung mapapamahal ito si Kai sa Gilas sa Pilipinas, no, di mag-represent na siya dito sa bansa natin, di ba? Kumbaga, wag na natin asahan siya ng iba pa kasi eventually, pagka hindi huya na-achieve ng bata, katakot-takot na po na rin ang tatanggapin yan, di ba? And then, pag siya po itinapat na natin doon sa mga malalaking kalaban, tapos pinanggapangga lang, bumagsak, dumapa. Kasi kung papapasino ninyo, yung laro ni Kai kahapon against legitimate big men of European countries and Americas, FIBA Americas, talagang mahihirapan po yan, and that we should see. No, pagka naglaban na sila doon sa Olympic qualifier dyan po sa Serbia. Dyan natin talaga makikita yung tikas itong bata. And I hope, no, huwag nyo hong ibabash yung 19-year-old na potential natin pagka nakita nyo ho yung kung paano siya mag-fare against the best of the best big man in the world. Carlo?
Oy, Snow, may ano tayo may guest pala tayo And
Okay.
we'll get we'll get an inside look the game last night and no less from no less from the assistant coach ng Gilas Pilipinas here. In a matter of a few minutes we'll let in Coach Jong.
Nakakatawa yung boses ni Jam parang bumubulong Ano? Sandali lang po.
Bagong dasal yan. Snow. Bagong dasal.
Hindi, Carlo, ang galing ng dating ni Jam Parang, boss, saglit lang ipapasok ko na.
Parang nagnanakaw lang. Snow.
Ganun no?
Coach!
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see everybody. Carlo, Dodo, Randolph, Mr. Snow. Kamusta na kayo? Ruben, Jerry.
Coach, maganda yung tawa mo
Siyempre, panalo Pag panalo, magandang tawa. Pag talo, malungkot ang tawa. O hindi, walang tawa.
Kyle.
Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Carlo.
So I know you're no stranger. Ayos lang, Coach. I know you're no stranger to Korean heartbreaks. So my first question, how satisfying was this victory against our Asian arch rivals?
Basta panalo naman, lahat naman ng laro ng Pilipinas o kung ano man laro, basta panalo, masaya naman. Siyempre, surprise, what makes it different is hindi naman expected na manalo tayo sa Korea Kasi siyempre, bata yung dala natin, tapos yung Korea, medyo veterano naman in their own right, no? Maski mga baguhan din sila, pero they are considered professionals already. Tayo considered pa rin na amateur. So, it was not expected, but it's always welcome na nanalo tayo sa Korea. And I'm happy for the guys na mga bata na lumaban lang talaga despite being the kumbaga the underdogs, no, in terms of experience. And it's minsan masarap din maglaro na underdog kasi laban ka lang ng laban Diba? Mga bata dala mo, basta laban lang sila ng laban maski na ano nangyayari sa laro. Pero mabuti naman na maski lumamang yung Korea ng 16 points, hindi sila nawala ng pag-asa. Yun ang importante doon, at they were able to come back. So, di naman sa na anong tawag nito, yung panalo na yun talagang player ang nagdala. So, talagang player talaga ang nagdala ng panalo yun.
Coach, I know ikaw yung isang tao na do not as much as possible you don't look back, you look forward. I've known you for a long time and pero may isang tanong lang ako na I think I need to ask this. Nung pinasok ni yung the 3-pointer that tied the game with 2.9 seconds left. Hindi ba yung Lee Sang-min 3-pointer hindi ba pumasok bigla sa isip ko from the Busan on that Busan game? Hindi ba pumasok bigla sa isip mo yun, Coach?
Hindi naman. Ang feeling mo lang talaga parang yung palaging feeling mo talaga pagkalaban mo yung Korea at nakashoot sila ng 3 points. Naku, ito na naman tayo. Parang ganon. Ito na naman tayo, di ba? Lalo na yung up tayo ng 3 tapos na-shoot nila yung 3. Yun ang unang pasok talaga. Honestly, yun ang unang pasok sa isip ko. Naku, ito na naman tayo. 3 points na naman. Diba? Pero
But you've come to expect that. But you've come to expect that from Korean teams, before
talagang given yun. Para bang pag hindi mo alam na titira ng 3 points, hindi mo ginawang scouting mo kasi hindi na kailangan scout yun kasi talagang given na sa kanila yung 3 points So, nung na-shoot nila, it was not surprising, pero syempre, naku, parang, ito na naman. Bakit pa nag-shoot? Di ba? Parang ganun lang. So, it just comes back talaga.
Tsaka coach, nakamiss na naman ng free throw si Ange Guam.
Oo nga.
Parang si na naman na-ask before.
Oo, to ice the game, ano? To ice the game, ano? So,
buti na lang, binago yung script ni sa dulo, no, coach?
Oo nga, ano na yun. Talaga, yun nga sinabi namin, player talaga kasi sila naman ang gagawa ng paraan. So, na-shoot yun, may konting swerte. At that means na para sa atin talaga yung laro kagabi. Kasi may pukpuk sila, tapos na-shoot pa yung swerte shot, di okay na rin, di ba?
Dolph, Ben, may tanong ba kayo kay Coach?
Ako meron kay Coach Jong. Coach, yun nga, binagyan natin ang sarap ng gising, ang sarap ngumiti after ng win. But may sinasabi ko kasi si SJ Belangel dun sa mga interview sa kanya, dispatch from Clark, na sinasabi niya, when Gilas was down by 17 in the second quarter, parang focus lang talaga yung nandun sa mga players sa bench. Coach, can you talk us through kung ano yung nangyayari dun sa Gilas bench when nung umaalagwa na nung simula yung Korea, and how could you compare that to at least yung 2030 natin na huli tayong nanalo against them?
Well, lahat naman, siyempre before the game, lahat naman sila focus. Pero ang reminders lang naman, whether you are in the bench or in the game, dapat alam mo kung ano nangyayari. Kung alam nyo kung ano nangyayari. So, hindi naman kulang ang pag-aalala ng mga assistant coaches doon sa mga tao sa bench na keep your focus. Huwag tayo masyadong maging emotional na maski down tayo, maaga pa naman, mahaba naman yung laro. Kasi maaga pa naman yun, first quarter pa lang yun. So, hindi naman nagkulang ng paalala na ano lang, laban lang tayo, wag tayong magkanya-kanya kasi pag nagkanya-kanya tayo, mawawala yung game plan ni Coach Tab. So, let's just stick to the game plan, pukpuk lang tayo, and then things will work out well. Keep your composure lang kasi ganun talaga ang basketball. Pag masira yung composure mo, talagang pati laro mo masisira. So, stick with the game plan lang, increase lang natin yung depensa natin. Yun. And then hopefully things will work out well, which is what happened naman. So, I mean, it's a good test for the young ones na they kept their composure maski nakalamang na ng 16 yung Korea. So, that's a good sign.
Pero Coach, yun nga were you surprised with the poise na itong mga bata had? Kasi, di ba, given sinasabi natin, inexperience, baka mamaya yung jitter sa parang usually, nakikita natin yan, even with having pros playing against Korea, parang lagi tayo nagpapanik, pero somehow they were still able to pull it through ng dulo, Coach.
Well, it helped then that we were playing also, we though walang tao na naglaro tayo dito sa country natin, so psychologically may factor yun, mentally may factor yun na nasa hometown tayo, na maraming nanonood, maski hindi live sa mga kanya-kanyang channel, di ba? So that plays a big factor also that we are playing hometown even if we are in a bubble. Second is yun nga ang paalala palagi ni Coach Tab is just to play your possession, dapat alam mo yung ginagawa mo per possession. So and huwag tayo maging masyadong emotional. Kasi pag naging emotional tayo, mawawala yung focus natin sa laro eh. So, yun lang ang paalala. And, well, siguro, because of their experience also sa college ranks na minsan may pukpukan na laro, that experience in the UAAP teams na nag-bring out doon sa laro kagabi. Yun. So, I think everything, little things. Pero, syempre, iba rin yung another level na tournament na sasalihan natin. I think we have 2 tournaments. So, more experience yun. And then they will be more composed when experiencing more international competitions.
Coach, may tanong ako. Yung sa Korea ba, na-scout niya ba yung Korea?
You know, we were coming in blind talaga. blind talaga kami. And the same thing as theirs. Ang alam lang namin yung scouting report ng player nila. Yun lang kilala namin because of the scouting reports kasi may liga naman sila. So alam namin yung tendencies ng mga Korean players. Pero yung coach, because this is the first time that he had coach, hindi namin alam ang estilo niya. So nanghuhula lang kami na sino bang mga coaches ang nag-influence sa kanya, na possible influence sa kanya. One is Herjay, and then one is yung pagkatapos ni Herjay. So yun ang mga nag-influence sa kanya. Like, probably, no? Baka nag-influence sa coaching style niya. But even up to now, we cannot say for sure what his system is. Kasi parang hindi, I mean, yes, typical Korean na 3 points, pero hindi typical coaching philosophy ng ng Koreano eh. So
talaga, coach? Talaga hindi siya typical Korean system, parang gano'n?
Mahalo eh. Halo kasi. May halo eh. Siguro because may halo kasi. Parang that's why we have to watch him some more. May halo kasi siya eh. Unlike the Korean na talagang I mean there are standards like ball movement, pero ngayon may one-on-one, may slasher na sila, may slasher na sila eh. Parang nag-hybrid na eh. May slasher na sila, meron na silang penetrator, may defender, may hustle defender na sila, which is not typical of not typical of Korea eh. Physical sila, yes, physical. Pero hindi pwedeng, bihira sa kanila yung penetrator to lay up eh. Penetrator to kick. Pero ngayon may penetrator to lay up na talaga, may breakdown. Dati hindi naman sila hustle, wala naman silang player na ang gagawin mo lang dumepensa. Pero ngayon meron silang player na taga-pressure lang ng point guard, yung number 43. Of course, they can all shoot the three, no? Pero may preference silang gawin other than shoot the three. Hindi kagaya noon, ang preference talaga nila is shoot the three. So there is becoming a hybrid na of Korea. But we don't know if it is going to be a future trend. Hindi ko alam until we see, diba? And ngayon, dati wala silang post game. Ngayon, puro poste na sila kay Ratcliffe. So, yun nga, as I said, it becomes a hybrid Korean team already eh. So tingnan natin in more games to come.
Pero coach, in terms of preparation, gaano kalaking bagay yung nandun kayo sa bubble? I mean, syempre yung ibang teams nag-prepare din. And yung ibang teams sinasabi, bata rin sila like your team. But yung being together and being nasa bubble, how did it help dun sa preparation ninyo overall?
A lot. In my opinion, it helped a lot being in the bubble. Twice a day practice, tapos kayo lang magkakasama. We were able to maximize the time that we were given in terms of, I think it was 3 weeks before coming in and 3 weeks before that. Tapos yung mga na-cancel na mga window. So put them all together. It helped a lot in creating chemistry, in putting in the system that Coach Tab wants to implement in terms of the identity of being a aggressive defensive team. So yung mga araw-araw na yon na sakripisyo ng mga player, well, I guess na nakita naman natin yung improvement ng mga bata in the past few weeks in yesterday's game. Pero siyempre, dapat alam nila na hindi lang kahapon yung laro eh. Marami pang laro yan. So, in terms of being mature na dapat ganito palagi yung laro natin, that's the experience that they will have or the maturity that they will have to learn in this tournament. Na kailangan araw-araw ganun ang laro. Hindi pwedeng nanalo ka tapos na yun, bida ka sa mga kababayan natin. Hindi, pag hindi maganda laro mo, parang baliwala yung laro kahapon. Yun ang kailangan nila matutunan.
Ben, okay na?
Carl,
Coach, you're talking about coaching preparation and style. we just would like to thank you na you managed to squeeze in some of your time kasi alam kong busy ka, and the rest of the Gilas coaches nagpe-prepare na agad kayo for tomorrow's game against Indonesia. So, Coach, maraming salamat at
Carl, sige tayo
sige,
isang tanong. Coach Jong, I know you've seen a lot of national teams ng Pilipinas na nakakalaban itong Korea. How would you rate itong koponan na to? Are you looking at them as one of the best to face the Koreans, boss? Itong team na to?
Yes, it's possible kasi it is probably the best, not naman the best, but it is a anong tawag dito, parang model. Kumbaga model because we can play big and we can play small at any given time. Kahapon nga naglaro si Coach Tab ng 3 malalaki, tapos minsan naglaro siya ng 3 maliliit. So parang model to, and hopefully that the improvement or the development ng team na to tuloy-tuloy. Siyempre hindi natin sinasabi na ito na yon, no? But yung model, kumbaga, mga model ng player na kakailanganin natin, ganun ang magiging direction natin. Na kagaya ni Carl Tamayo or Balti na 6'7", 6'6", 6'8" that can play the wingman, na sana ma-develop sila na ganon. So ganun yung programa na ginagawa ni Coach Tab. Pero kung maliliit naman ang kalaban natin, di pwede rin tayo magmaliit. So the model is there, the program is there. Hopefully that may mga mahanap pa tayong player in time for 2023 na ganon. Or in the future, even after 2023.
Pero Coach, what's your take on the statement of the Korean coach na miracle yung naging panalo natin, that Pastor Peter Bibelangen? Ano tingin mo doon? Do you think if we play itong Koreans in a best of 7 match, do you think we can dominate them still?
I don't think, di naman dominate. Yes, he can say na miracle, pero miracle din naman yung tira nila. So so swerte lang yun. Naswerte na-shoot natin, naswerte nila, na-shoot nila. Kasi si SJ naman, nakaka-shoot naman ng 3 points yun. Pero talagang swerte yung tira. We have to admit na swerte yung tira, no? Pero sa 7 games, siyempre, hindi ko masabing madodominate, pero we have a 50-50 chance na makapanalo tayo sa kanila.
Opo, so sa ipinakita natin performance na yun, pwede natin ulit-ulitin sa kanila yung ganung performance, yung ganung panalo no, sa tingin mo?
Yeah, kasi yes, we can win, pero ang hinihingi natin sa player is yung ganung klaseng trabaho and determination, and hindi sila mag-give up. And then hopefully, manalo tayo sa ganung klaseng laro. Pero kung tuloy-tuloy yung ganung klaseng laro natin in terms of determination, yung keeping your poise, at saka yung mga ganon, malaki ang future ng team natin.
Pero sa tingin mo, boss, yung panalo natin na yan against Koreans, ano kaya sa tingin mo yung nakita ng mga kalaban pa natin sa Asia? Do you think, boss, may napalaki kaya ang mata ng mga yan?
Yes, pwede kasi sabi nila, batang-bata pa ito. What more kung mag-grow sila together when they reach the peak of maturity and playing. Kung nangyari yon, sama-sama sila, may konting additions, at saka mag-mature sila together, and they are in their mature age pagdating ng 25, 26, 27, 28, so and so. Talagang lalakas ang team natin. Continuous lang yung programa natin. And I think they will see that. Kasi yung Iran naman, naging dominate sila. Mga youth yung mga player nila, di ba? Tapos nag-men. So, we have a chance. We have a chance to be good in the Asian level muna tayo. Not Southeast Asian, hindi naman given, pero malakas na tayo sa Southeast Asian. So, we are looking at being more consistent in the Asian level.
Okay, speaking of decision, boss, ano yung istorya, ano yung kwento before the SPP, before the Gilas coaching staff decided to play itong si Kai Soto? Paano yung naging deliberation ninyo?
Well, syempre, kailangan makita namin muna si Kai Soto. We have not seen him until we came into the bubble. So, the first and foremost is medyo decent naman yung kondisyon niya. Kailangan namin din ng backup kay Ange. So, kasi si Ange, syempre, hindi naman siya pwedeng mag 40 minutes. So, we needed somebody that is of the same size na maski 5 minutes lang, makakatulong. So, yun ang naging decision ng team why we decided to line up si Kai in the last minute.
Pero kung may alinlangan kayo nun, boss, ano yun?
Because we did that, kasi hindi, ang tagal namin hindi nakikita eh. Tapos hindi namin alam kung how good of a shape he is in. And ang tagal din niyang hindi naglaro. Parang tayo, matagal din tayo naglaro. Yun lang naman yung alinlangan namin na how good of a shape is him. Does he need more practice time? Or yung mga ganon. But at the end of the day, we decided na kailangan din namin ng ang able backup maski 5 minutes kay Ange. Okay, Ange. So surprisingly, maganda rin naman pinakita ni Kai. Matapang yung bata. Matapang, hindi bumibigay maski pahulog-hulog na siya ron, maski na sino, hindi siya bumibigay. And he was really determined to try to show. Minsan gigil nga nung umpisa na gusto magpakita kaagad eh. So, but eventually, he settled down.
Pero boss, during the first half, were you afraid na, di ba may almost 2 weeks po siya of inactivity, di ba? Nag-worry po ba kayo sa health niya, sa condition doon, or yung pagiging prone niya sa injury?
Kaya nga eh, that's why nga, that was also one of the, how good of a shape was he in? He said okay naman daw siya, nag-do weights naman siya or whatever his strength and conditioning routine is. So, i-manage lang natin yung oras niya. Yun, i-manage lang natin. And that's what, yun ang decision na. Basta i-manage lang natin yung oras niya. Pag pagod ka na, or pag nakikita namin pagod. There was one point in the game na nakita ko na siya, nagpasenyas na siya ng sub. So, nabanggit na natin kay Coach Sab na gusto na magpasab. So, ganun lang yung management natin siya sa laro.
Sa kagabi, madalas nakanganga siya eh, no? So, meaning to say, walang kondisyon eh, no? Napansin mo rin ba yun?
Wala pang masyadong in game shape, hindi game shape siya. Kasi at least tayo, yung nasa bubble, tayo eh, nag-scrimmage tayo, paminsan palagi tayo nag-scrimmage, nag-full court. Unlike siguro si Kai, kasi ang hirap din yung matenga ng mga 2 linggo na na nasa kwarto ka lang. Ang hirap nun, tas wala kang ginagawa. Maski na mag-exercise ka sa kwarto, iba pa rin yung laro. Practice, shooting, kung ano man. So, it took a toll on nagka-epekto rin sa kanya yon.
Okay, lastly, Coach, apart from the decision na apart from the plan na magkaroon tayo ng backup for Kwame, ano yung isa pa naging winay ng SBP and ng Gilas coaching staff? That's why we gambled on bringing in Kai Sotobos to the team. Is this some sort of a preparation for Serbia na?
Yes, partly na rin. Kasi in fact, mas gusto namin mas maaga para better preparation si Kai. And then, para mas mahaba yung practice time. But unfortunately, schedules did not permit and protocols. So, at least nakapaglaro siya in time for Serbia. So magkakaroon ng practice time, game time, and magkakakilala naman sila kasi magkakababata naman lahat ng player na yan, and we can get good chemistry. Mabait naman yung bata, madaling pakisamahan, and then it will be in time for Serbia. Sakto lang.
Pero will you play him against Indonesia tomorrow? Although this is already an unfair, or we're going to save his minutes na lang?
Hindi, I think he will hindi pa kami nagsasubmit ng lineup, but I think everything will be, may konting changes lang. We will decide later. Pero ilalaro pa namin because he needs the practice and he needs the games talaga. Kakailanganin talaga niya.
So kasama pa rin siya bukas?
Yes, kasi for sure kasama siya bukas, yes.
Boss Doc?
Coach,
Thank you, Snow. Thank you.
Coach, alam mo naman ako matanda dito eh. Kaya babalik lang akong konti.
Oo.
I saw you worked up close with Coach Ron. Ron Jacobs for a long time. Parang tatay mo yan, Coach Ron. And now, you're working closely with Tab Baldwin. How would you compare the two? Pagdating sa approach sa laro, sistema, how would you compare the two, Coach?
Pareho silang stricto, pareho silang hindi nag-aaksaya ng oras, pareho silang nabadetalyado, work ethic nila, ang hirap sabayan, di ba? Kasi, mahirap sabayan kasi kagaya kagabi, di ba? We know the routine of international, pero both of them, pag international, kagaya kami as coaching staff, nag-viewing kagabi. Parang there is very little time to ayaw niya yung time na merong, how do you say, na kailangan productive tayo. Yun, kailangan productive tayo as coaches and then we will make our players also productive na walang masyadong lull time mentally kasi kailangan focus sila all the time eh. So maski na players, let's meet 1 hour lang para lang to keep that focus na tapos na yung laro kagabi. Iba naman ngayon. Tapos na yun, panalo na tayo, nagsaya na tayo ng ilang oras, iba na usapan yung practice today at saka yung game bukas. So yun ang gusto ni Coach Tab. And very similar to Coach Ron. Talagang ang gusto niya, ang time mo is always productive. Of course, you will need time for yourself and some rest time. Pero in totality, kailangan focus tayo sa ginagawa natin dito. So kaya nga almost full ang days namin ngayon. In fact, sila nag-scout kasi bubble ngayon. So dalawa lang pwede mag-scout eh. So kami manonood kami. Dalawa lang ang pwede pumunta sa para mag-scout. So dito kami sa TV. And then after the TV, after the game, tutuloy na kami ng AUF para mag-practice naman. Oo. So and then before our Zoom, nagmi-meeting naman kami ng coaches para kung ano yung gagawin namin mamaya. So, tuloy-tuloy lang talaga.
How about sa Coach? Sa sistema nila, Coach Ron tsaka si Coach Tab?
Iba-iba kasi yung sistema because siyempre iba yung panahon noon, iba yung
motion pa si Coach Ron.
Oo, ito si Coach Tab, may plays, may set plays, merong may motion type din, pero iba na yung, kasi yung panahon ni Coach Ron, screening game, na motion, ngayon more on cutting game, ball pick game, and cutting game. So, pero they are very similar in many ways in terms of ball movement, emphasis on ball movement, emphasis on speed, hindi pwedeng mabagal. In depensa, kailangan talagang in-your-face defense. Tsaka, medyo very complicated ng sistema ni Coach Tab sa defense. So, kailangan focus ka mentally para alam mo yung ginagawa mo. Same thing with Coach Ron, medyo complicated din yung defensive system niya, but he tries to make it simple. So kailangan focus ka kasi kailangan alert ka sa mga sitwasyon mo na hindi na sa area mo eh. So ganun yung style nilang dalawa.
Do you see more similarities than differences when it comes to?
I see a lot of similarities more than differences. And differences lang naman nila is kasi yung panahon eh. Yun lang naman yun. The times now are different than the times before. But in terms of work ethic, philosophy, stressing fundamentals, there are a lot more similarities.
I remember dati kung yung sinasabi mong long hours with Coach Ron, yung war room niyo dati sa San Miguel, Coach, di ba? Nasa ilalim lang ba nung apartment ni Coach Ron doon, di ba?
Yes.
So anytime, pinapatawag kayo ni Coach Ron doon, di ba?
Anytime, on call. Kaya kami ni Coach Tab, ganun din, on call. Okay, meeting, kunyari, 11 o'clock, mamaya meeting after lunch, mamaya meeting sa gabi. So, ganun din dito.
Parang you went back in time, coach, no?
Oo nga eh. Mabuti, sanay tayo.
Sanay ka na, coach. Sanay ka na.
Sanay na. Ano ko, anong tawag mo? Na-training.
Oo, sanay na yung katawan mo kay Coach Ron. Now, kaya siguro gusto ka ni Coach Tab ngayon.
Sana. I mean, I'm just one of the assistant coaches. The assistant coach that he really relies on is Sandy, because he's been together for so long in the Ateneo days, Ateneo hanggang ngayon. So he relies very much on Sandy. Tapos kami we make our own experience inputs. Yung mga veteranong input yun na lang.
Pero coach, kailangan niya rin daw ng lasal na lasal.
Iba yun. Ibang usapan yun. Pag lasal inputs yun.
Pasok na tayo sa comment.
May tanong ako.
Kasi Brad.
Coach, lahat impressive hindi laro. But ikaw, meron ka bang player na medyo mas na-surprise ka na dun sa game kagabi?
Actually, sino kaya magiging... si Balti. Si Balti, lasalista pala yun, no? Baka sabihin mo, may favoritism ako,
Dalawa, coach. Baka aside from Balti, and sino pa?
Si Balti, si Carl. Si Carl played very well, I think. He kept his... Kasi sa practice, medyo wild si Carl eh. Medyo makiti-kiti. Pero yesterday, medyo nagkalma siya yesterday. Ang ganda crucial nga yung mga baskets niya at saka yung mga defensive rotations niya, very crucial. So those are one of the guys that kumbaga surprise. Si Balti kasi versatile, pwedeng 3-4, si Carl pwedeng 3-4. Yun ang dalawang player na would probably be very good for the national team in terms, sabi ko nga, in terms of model. Kumbaga, ito yung klaseng player na pwede natin i-develop. Because the Koreans, yung number 1, yung shooter nila, yung number 1, ang laki nun ng mga 6'7" yata yun, pero ang liksi gumalaw, tsaka shoot. Hindi mo nga masusupalpal yung tira nun kasi kailangan 6'8" at tsaka 6'7" ka rin para mailang siya. So, those are the types of physique, kumbaga yung physique na kakailanganin as a national team. Kung local league lang or local environment, pwede na yung mga 6'2", 6'3", pero pag international, kailangan mga 6'6" and above, mga ganun. Ang maliit lang sa Korea, point guard nila, yun lang ang maliit sa kanila eh. Na 6-footer then I think, if I'm not mistaken, di ba?
Ito, basat lang tayo isang comments. One of the comments from Paolo Alfonso. Masarap talagang kausap si Coach Jong. Madami kang matututunan dyan, boss. Lalo na coaching clinic. Tapos yung mga shortcomings na siya mismo sinasabi niya. So,
Kuya Carl, ako may isa akong sisingit kay Coach Jong kasi alam ko kailangan na rin yung mag-scout. Huling-huli na lang, Coach, you've seen national teams go through the years from the time na Olsen, Johnny, to noong 2013, Jimmy Alapag, Jason Castro, to even yung last, yung sila Matnieto. Obviously, ravaged, depleted yung guard rotation natin, but players like SJ Belangel and RJ Aparientos pulled out. Tingin mo, Coach, ano pa yung kailangan nilang i-improve? We all admit na marami pa na kailangan gawin yung mga bata. Pero ano pa yung kailangan nilang gawin to get dun sa mga level ng mga Olsen Rosella, Jimmy Alapag, in terms of national team?
Pwede bang height? Pwede ba? Hindi na siguro pwede height.
Hindi na, Coach. Hindi na.
Hindi, I mean, experience lang naman. Experience. Yes, they are small, it's a fact. Pero kung dadaanin nila sa bilis, sa shooting, sa aggressive, sa depensa, I think they will make it as a Gilas national team player. Kasi si SJ matapang eh. Nakita mo naman, he was willing to take that shot. Maski sabihin mo, Chamba, swerte. But the point is, he was willing to take the shot. May mga player na hindi willing eh. Iiwas na lang sa bola. Pero siya hindi pumunta talaga siya sa bola para bahala na, di ba? Pero the mere fact that he was willing to get the ball and take the shot is already one positive thing na buo ang loob ng bata. Hindi naman siya nag-back down kasi maski maliit, mas matangkad yung bantay niya, physical pa rin niya. So that is another one. So malaki ang future ni SJ. We know he can score, we know he can sacrifice his body defensively, and he will gain the other aspects in terms of the experience na lang yon. Mga experience na lang yon, then he will learn a lot of things. Kasi we can only do so much in practice. Kailangan ma-experience nila in playing better teams like Korea, Indonesia, and then in Serbia, mas matindi yung makakalaban natin sa Serbia. Pero doon tayo mag-i-improve, matindi. Same thing with RJ. Dito, angat siya sa high school, sa 3x3 kasi nagagawa niya yung kaya niyang gagawin. Pero once you play with better competition, hindi lang athletic ability ang aasahan mo, pero also your mental ability ang dapat umiiral din. And all of these games, from this window 3 to the Serbia to the Asia Cup Challenge, will really be a big contributory factor sa development ng each player and the Gilas team.
Coach,
Thanks,
alam
Coach.
namin busy ka. Coach, alam namin na mag-scout ka pa ng Indonesian game. Nakaka-apekto na kami sa trabaho mo. Carl?
Hindi, okay lang.
Ayun nga.
Hey, Coach, maraming salamat, Coach.
Coach, maraming salamat for making time for us, and congratulations. Good luck bukas, Coach.
Siyempre, nung minsan pinanood ko kayo, tuwan-tuwa nga ako eh. Nakakatawa kayo nung nasa telepono yun, tawan-tawa ako doon sa show ninyo. Ang sarap pakinggan. Diba?
Si Jerry po yung nakakatawa sa amin, sir. Lahat po kami seryoso.
Ay, oo nga pala, Jerry lang.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Jong. Good luck po.
Yes, text lang kayo. Alright.
Maraming salamat,
Thanks,
Coach.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So yun, that was Coach Jong with Chico.
Ngayon, meron na naman tayo, Carl.
May bagong bisita. Parang dalawa na tayo nakapila sa ating sa lobby. So without further ado,
Boss, low bat na yung iPhone 13 ko, ha?
Oh, sige, Coach. Sige, Jong. Ay, Coach Jong.
Hindi, ako. Malapit na matupad yung pangarap ng mga hater ko. Malapit na akong bumitaw. Wala nang battery, iPhone 13 ko.
Okay, Snow.
Grabe, nasa Baguio si Idol eh.
Actually, si Coach Chot. Nasa lobby na rin si Coach Chot.
Yun.
Pasok na rin. Binigay ko ng jam. So, pwede rin natin makausap si Coach Chot right now.
Mm-hmm. But first, Ben, ikaw na magpakilala dito. Sino ba tong guest natin?
At itong bisita natin, and we would like to thank him for joining us today. Itong si Coach Joe Silva ang ating bisita. Kilala niya yung karamihan sa mga naglalaro ngayon sa Gilas, Pilipinas. He played or he coached the Ateneo Blue Eaglets. At naging player din niya si the likes of SJ Belangel and Kai Soto. And now, Coach Joe Silva joins us for special edition of POV. Coach Joe, welcome. And Coach, maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon.
Hello, Sir Ben. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
Coach Joe, welcome. Salamat for taking the time to join us here.
Yes, Sir Dodo. Hello.
Coach, siguro first question, reaction mo muna na yung mga bata mo played really well in that game yesterday, including SJ Belangel who hit that game winner.
Well, actually, I'm here in a bubble sa Mindoro kasi we're practicing for the NBL and NPPL. So talagang after our practice, we went straight to a place where we can watch it. Talagang all the boys, all the players were tuned in, and ako rin. In fact, kay SJ nga, napasigaw ako, napatalon ako. May video dito pero ayoko ilabas. Pero napatalon talaga ako, napasigaw ako ng last shot. So nakaka-proud to see sila Kai and the others, the rest of every one of them playing with pride and playing for our country.
But Coach, let's go to SJ, no? Based on dun sa nakita mo, kumusta yung kanyang improvement from the last time you coach or the last time you saw him play to now sa Gilas?
Well, for me, leaps and bounds improvement. I mean, just his consistency in shooting the 3 ball, his decision making and playmaking, laki nang in-improve under Coach Tab and under the Gilas system. So it's been doing wonders for him, and he's well deserving to be part of this Gilas team.
Pero ikaw, Coach, seeing him, nung high school pa lang, nakita mo ba yung potential niya to be this good na from then to now?
Actually, yes, that was the reason why I really recruited him from Bacolod ever since he was a kid. So talagang I saw the potential, and I knew that it was just a matter of time that he was going to represent our country in the Gilas Pilipinas national men's team, kasi he represented the Batang Gilas team already.
Yeah. Pero Coach, backstory lang, you mentioned ni-recruit mo siya. Ano ba ang kukwento dyan? Paano mo ba nakakita si SJ?
Actually, ganito nangyari dyan. First thing happened, there was an alumnus sa Ateneo na tumutulong sa Blue Eaglets and sa Blue Eagles na nagsabi sa akin. There's a kid who scored 99 points in a game. I think SPP pa lang. Why don't you go check him out? So, nag-uni games sa Bacolod. Kasama ko yung Blue Eagles. We played there. And that was the first time na I saw SJ in a tryout. Nagpa-tryout yung coaches doon. Tapos doon ko nakita si SJ. So after that, sabi ko, this boy, has what it takes to succeed in the future. So right then and there, I talked to him. Luckily enough, his favorite player then was Keeper. And at that time, he watched our game. Nakilala niya si Keeper. So thankful din ako kay Keeper na at least nakatulong siya sa pag-recruit.
Okay, kasama po natin si Coach Joe Silva na dating coach natin ng Blue Eaglets. Dolph, baka may question ka?
Ako, may singit ako. Coach Joe, long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Suki natin yan. Coach Joe, nabanggit mo si SJ, pero doon naman tayo sa mas malaki. Lagi tayo nag-uusap when it comes to the development nitong si Kai, from him going to the States, joining Ignite, and even nung Adelaide, nakausap ka namin. But kumbaga, ito yung kagabi, yung first time in the flesh na nakita uli natin siya in action. The last time was with you sa Ateneo and you sa Batang Gilas na. In your fair assessment, how has he developed, Coach? And ano pa yung mga masabi mo na talagang nakita natin kagabi? Na, kumbaga masabi mo talaga tenfold, nag-improve si Kai.
Well, pinaka-glaring dun yung nag-build up siya, nag-bulk up siya ng katawan. So, he was able to, adjust to the physicality of the import of Korea, Ratcliffe, and then the other big men. Also his handles. There was one instance he blocked the shot, went coast to coast, laid it in. I went crazy then. So sabi ko, grabe yung improvement niya. So also the way he reads, I understand that he's not in shape yet because he came late and he had to quarantine. But but his feel for the game, his grasp of the system was easy. You could see it. He was making the right plays, especially in the second half when Gilas team.
Pero Coach, admittedly, same pa rin naman yung kailangan, di ba? Bulking up. Kasi parang when he was buying bodies with Ratcliffe and something na i-expect natin tomorrow with Lester Prosper, medyo halata pa. But do you think, Coach, that won't affect yung agility, yung speed niya if he adds more weight?
Well, I don't think it will because sobrang specialized na ng strength and conditioning ngayon. I think the trainers or the physiotherapists can find a way to balance him bulking up and him being more agile. So I don't see a problem there. In fact, I think it can help him more.
Coach, huli na lang, karamihan kasi I think, naririnig mo naman to eh. Karamihan na sinasabi ng tao, puro Atenista yung kinukuha sa national team. And most of those Ateneans, isama na natin si Dave Ildefonso, sila Matt Nieto, sila Mike Nieto, all came from the Blue Eagles program na alam naman natin you were part. But bilang former coach ng mga yun, Coach, how happy are you to see these players na who were part of the youth team ascend dun sa seniors team, and not just ascend, but also impress in their time there?
Well, of course, as a coach and also as a fan, I'm very happy to see them on this stage, on this level. Being able to handle them and being able to be under that program, talagang player development was a big thing for us. And yung mga dream ng mga bata na yan was to represent their country. So they're here now and they've been representing well. They've learned the system, the culture, what it takes to represent the country. So talagang nakakataba ng puso. So actually, yun nga, nung nakita ko sila, parang sabi ko, grabe, tanda ko na. Kasi sabi ko, players ko lang dati, nasa men's team na ng batang Gilas-Korea. Sabi ko, wow, time flies. Pero masaya ako for them.
Coach, yun nga rin,
super proud ako.
Coach, yun nga rin itatanong ko dahil most of these players, either way, na-coach mo or you coach against. So, ikaw ba, Coach, aside from, of course, yung other players meron ka bang player na really surprised you the most dun sa game kagabi?
Si Carl Tamayo.
Carl Tamayo.
Laki ng improvement at development ni Carl Tamayo. I mean, ngayon, maaasahan na talaga siya and he can step out, may range na siya ngayon, he can dribble the ball, he has a consistent outside shot. And of course, ako si RJ naman. RJ, I'm not surprised. To me, in high school, nung kalaban ko siya, sila ni SG yung top point guards. Pero ang surprising talaga si Carl. Ganda ng demeanor, ganda ng depensa. Talagang complete player si Carl.
Coach, give us an idea na siguro may mga viewers tayo na medyo hindi na-follow rin yung mga high school careers nila. Pero si Carl Tamayo ba, how was he nung high school siya?
Well, actually si Carl was more back to the basket first. Tapos rebound, put back muna. Kasi syempre, we all knew that in high school, pag may magaling kang guards, medyo guard dominated. Pero he could, from time to time, he could step out and take that three-point shot. He could bring down the ball. Pero yun nga, it wasn't really needed from him or he really didn't have that skill set yet. Pero ngayon, grabe, sobrang amazed ako. Ang ganda ng pinakita niya. In 10 minutes, I think he scored 10 points. Sobrang efficient. Pero you knew sa mold niya, you knew the time would come that he can play a three in this level.
Oo nga, grabe yun, Coach. Oh.
Okay. Mga bossing, may questions pa ba tayo?
Ako lang, Coach. Isang tanong lang. Coach Joe, good afternoon. Yes. Coach, any chance of you joining the national team? Either as a youth mentor or siguro part ng coach staff ni Coach.
Siyempre, it's all up to the SBP. Pero of course, that's also my dream. I think it's every coach's dream to handle the youth team or to be a part of that organization, that group. Pero siyempre, di ba, I leave it to the SBP and to Lord God. Kung talagang papalarin, bibigyan ng chance, okay naman. Walang problema sa akin.
Okay, isa ako sa magsusupport as a youth team coach. Para sa
Thank you kung sakali man. Thank you very much.
Kaya ni Coach Joe yan. San Beda Red Cubs, tapos Mindoro, tapos dadagdag.
Ito talaga si Rando.
Coach, thank you for joining us. No, alam ko medyo short notice. Ayun, sa Mindoro ka pa pala.
No problem. Anything and anytime para sa spin.
Pero Coach, siguro parting shot na lang, and what can you expect na lang from the Gilas pa moving forward?
Well, I'm looking forward to them finishing well and getting the job done. I'm looking forward to them bringing home the gold, and I hope that they continue to make our country proud. So laban Pilipinas, puso lang.
Coach, maraming salamat. That was Coach Silva, former head coach ng Ateneo Blue Eagles.
Thank you everyone.
Thanks, Coach Joe.
Coach Joe. Ingat ka, Coach. At yun, Carl.
Ayun.
Ganda ng inputs ni Coach Joe, no? A player or from a coach na na-handle niya and coached against, no? Ganda yung inputs niya, no? Lalo na si Carl Tamayo, no? Very, talagang actually agree rin ako sa kanya when it comes to that, no? So Coach, salamat po. Coach Joe, salamat.
Ingat Coach. Kayo dyan. Stay safe everyone. Ingat.
Tama, Sir Ben. Si Carl Tamayo talaga yung, kumbaga, na-breakout. And yun yung binabanggit natin kanina at the top of the show, na sa lahat ng players, si Carl at si Justin Baltasar talaga yung may biggest adjustment because they were playing bigs and somehow they were forced to play the wings and they were able to deliver at that dun sa game against Korea kahapon.
And without further ado, let's welcome our last guest. We saved the best for last. Former national coach. Ito na, Coach Vincent Chatres. Coach, good afternoon.
Sa fairway ba si Coach? O...
Tingin ko nasa ano to nasa...
Ilocos.
Nasa bus ako. Nasa bus. Ensayo. Inistorbo yung ensayo namin eh.
Coach, hindi naman ikaw nagmamaneho niyang bus, ha?
Hindi pa naman. Siguro next week ako na.
Coach, yung tropang giga sa harap ng it suits you. Parang full circle, Coach, ha?
Oo nga eh. Who would have thought, right?
Oo nga. Right off, Coach. What initial thoughts on the game last night?
Well, obviously I was very happy, but I wasn't surprised. In more than 2 or 3 interviews before this, I told the people who asked me what our chances were. Sinabi ko, well, it's going to be difficult, but I will not be surprised if we get more than 1 win. And those are my exact words. I will not be surprised if this team gets more than 1 win. So yun linaro nilang yun kagabi. I really knew they would give Korea a tough fight. Siyempre, yung umpisa, medyo na malahibo pa dahil hindi nag-tune-up game tong mga batang to eh. Kumbaga, last night was their first tune-up game. So we expected them really to struggle at first. Pero I thought the bench came in pretty well and gave the team a lift. And then, ang ganda ng adjustments na ginawa ni Coach Tab as well nung nakita niya yung takbo ng laro. So, like I said, I wasn't surprised. I was very, very happy, but I was not surprised.
Coach, I was, habang pinapanood ko yung game, nakamonitor ako sa Twitter. Nakikita ko yung mga tweet mo, Coach. And you were reading everything right. Merong time na kala ko magko-collapse tayo, but you were saying you trust Tab in those kinds of plays.
Yes, correct.
How confident were you? Kasi being young, this team being young, may peaks and valleys yan, Coach, during a game, di ba? And you were hitting it.
Pero we've seen these players nung 3 years ago pa di ba? Nung binuo natin yung 23-4-23. Hindi ako agree doon sa sinabi ni Coach Joe about Carl Tamayo because 3 years ago, we literally told Carl we are recruiting him and to preparing him for the spot of Gabe Norwood. He has a big, sinabi na namin kay Carl yun, you're the next Gabe Norwood. You will play that role in the future sa tall wing man. So, alam ko yung kakayahan ng mga players na to. But of course, there was still a lot of worries kasi mga bata, bago pa lang sila eh. Pero yung tweet kong yun, yung last play, ilang beses ko na nakita si Tab doon, master siya dyan sa ganyang situation. Unang-una was the first time naglaban kami, Gilas versus New Zealand. Sa New Zealand kami, ganyan-ganyan, tabla. Ang ganda ng tinakbo niyang play. Last second play din, natirahan niya kami ng magandang play sa endgame. And then who will forget yung sa Taiwan, sa Jones Cup, di ba? And then this one. So, if you're a student of the game, alam mo na yon that at the very least makakatira tayo. Of course, everyone will say it was a broken play, it was but at least the number one thing was na inbound natin yung bola at so we gave ourselves a chance to win. And if you give yourself a chance, talagang may chamba, di ba? Ganun talaga yung basketball. Kasi if you take a look at it, some people say, chamba naman. Sabi ko, kung hindi lang na-miss ni Adj naman yung isang free throw niya, tapos na di ba? Bali wala na yung huling 3 points ng Korea. So ganun talaga yung basketball. So like I said, I was very happy.
Yes. Coach, ano lang your hindsight on how different this Korean team na tinalo ng Gilas kagabi to the Korean team your Gilas team had beaten in 2013?
Well, yung mga Korean teams na kinakalaban namin before, wala kasi si Radcliffe eh. So wala silang low post threat masyado. Yung low post threat nila, yan, yung Kaliwete kagabi, their veteran. And then yung isa pang parang ganun din maglaro na sinundan yung ni number 33 last night. But essentially, Korea had 5 guys who can shoot the 3. So now with Radcliffe there, yes, they became more powerful. They have a better inside, stronger inside presence. Pero nawala sa kanila yung 5 3-point shooters na kailangan mong problemahin. Kami, that was always our problem in the past. Maski yung 5 ng Korea, tumitira ng 3. And that's the main difference from when we were playing them in the past and from the Korea that we saw last night.
Thank you, Coach. Yung iba naman para makapagtanong din.
Sige, Dos.
Ako muna, Coach Chot.
Yes,
good afternoon. Nabanggit mo na kanina yung 23 for 23. So, kumbaga, in spirit, nandun na eh. How happy are you na karamihan ng players doon? Like, sabi mo nga, si Carl, si Justin Baltasar, yan yung mga nailista mo doon. We're able to sustain and kumbaga, naipasok pa rin sa national team moving forward. This is sa team natin ngayon.
Very, very happy, of course. That was the first thing sinabi sa atin ni Chairman MVP nung in-award sa atin yung hosting ng 23. Yun ang unang-una niya sinabi sa akin. Sabi niya, Chot, buuin mo na yung lineup for 2023. That was the first thing. Nung in-award sa atin yung hosting, sinabi na niya kagad yun. So this is it. This is the program. Nagkaroon ng konting hiccups at that time. Pero now, credit to the vision ni SBP President Al Panilio and of course the never-ending support ni Chairman MVP. Putting Tab as the project director. And then now coaching the team, that's really a step in the right direction. Dahil ganun talaga kailangan talagang isang team yung padadala mo, and hindi talaga pwede yung dati nating ginagawa na alam mo na, yung patsi-patsi lang. And I just wanted to comment yung sinabi ni Joe kanina. I fully agree with him. Yung sinabi niya yung culture na yung mga bata who love to play for the country. Kasi sinabi nga niya, feeling niya matanda siya. Ano pa kaya ako? Lolo na siguro ako. Tayo, dudes. Lolo na tayo, dudes. Kasi inabot pa natin yung time na ayaw na makaawa tayo maglaro yung mga tao para sa Philippine team, di ba? There was a time you had to beg for the PBA players, the collegiate players, the college kids to play for the national team. And and I think the one thing that we've been able to achieve is to change that culture. Ngayon, lahat talaga ng batang Pilipino, dahil sa nakita nila yung exploits nila Jimmy, ni Pingris, nila Ranidel doon, now everybody wants to don the Gilas jersey. And that's really positive signs for Philippine basketball. Ngayon, lahat ng bata nagpapakamatay makalaro for the Philippines.
I think that the way yung magiging mo sina Dwight Ramos, si SJ Belangel, they were all pining on that 2013 moment sa FIBA Asia natin. Yeah. And that, I think, tells you that single victory against Korea planted for this batch.
Yes. And not only that, if you think about it, it broke the glass ceiling kasi that win got us to the World Championships, di ba? For the first time in 4 decades. Pero right after that, yung batang Gilas natin, yung youth, nag-qualify for the World Youth Championships for the first time ever in history. And then yung mga babae natin, even our women, qualified for level 1 ng Asian Championships for the first time in history. Dati, puro Southeast Asia lang yung babae natin. Naging Asian level na rin sila. So, it broke the glass ceiling. So ngayon, lahat ng Pilipino naniniwala, kaya natin to. Kaya natin lumaban dun kaya natin umabot sa Worlds, kaya natin, we can play with the best in Asia and with the best in the world.
Yun nga, Coach, since nabanggit mo na kanina na you beg to disagree dun sa sinabi ni Coach Joe Silva about Carl Tamayo, because obviously Carl Tamayo, we know his caliber and he was included dun sa 23 for 23 list mo. There were also players who were not part of that list who were also part of this team. So, kumbaga, Coach, in your view, sino yung masabi mong gumulat sa'yo o surprised you with the way they played yesterday?
Ako si SJ. SJ was not in that list, not because he was not deserving, but because he was still too young. 3 years ago, he was still too young to be on this list. So, and then we had, obviously, we had Matt Nieto, Juan Gomez de Llano in that position, right? So that's why Salat, the biggest surprise for me was SJ, and it has nothing to do with that last shot. It had nothing to do with that last shot. But I think his poise, number one, and sa akin, sa lahat, siya yung unang pumalag sa pisikalan. Siya yung unang pumalag And,
I agree, Coach.
Yeah, pumalag siya talaga. So sabi ko, yun ang nakakatawa every time the Asian point guards try to pressure our point guards, nauubos talaga sila, magpa-foul out sila talaga. Gustong-gusto talaga natin yun pag pinipressure tayo Kasi mauubos talaga sila sa mga point guards natin. And then, after SJ, I thought Abarientos RJ really injected life kasi siya yung bumutas nung coming off the bench, nabutas talaga niya yung depensa ng Korea. And then since then we felt kaya natin pasukin. But in terms of surprise, for me it was really SJ.
Minamama yung mga kakampi niya, Coach. Si SJ yung unang pumalag.
Yes,
yung point guard ng Korea, di ba, Coach?
Yes, nabuisit sa kanya.
Oo, napikon
Galing
Coach, maraming salamat sa oras mo. We really appreciate your inputs. Napakaganda ng mga inputs mo as always, Coach. Your last parting shots, Coach.
Like I said, this was a great win. But let's not get carried away. Malayo pa ang mararating ng team na to. Marami pa silang kakainin. They really still have to improve. And when those losses come, sana naman yung ating mga kababayan, wag naman titirahin na naman nila, na naman yung mga, alam mo na, team natin to di ba? Suporta lang tayo. Kahapon, nung nag-start, lamang ng malaki Korea, dami na kagad natin nakikita. I'm sure, nakita mo yun, dudes, di ba? Yung mga naninira lang agad. Ito na, Jesus Marasop, sabi ko, team natin to suporta na lang tayo, di ba? Tama tayo ibang magagawa I mean, unless you've been there, you really don't know what it's like. Right. Hindi mo alam gaano kahirap yun So, we're very happy with the way the victory last night, but this team will run into challenges and difficulties, and when that time comes, it is up to us to support them. Suporta lang tayo ng suporta. Yun ang ibig sabihin talaga ng puso, di ba?
Pahabol ako na tanong about national team. I know we're all about the positives, but what do you think Gilas can improve on tomorrow and moving forward?
There's obviously a lot, and Sitab will be the first one to tell you that there's still a lot to be improved on. In his post-game, he alluded to some of it. Their offensive execution was one. It wasn't still as smooth as he wants, and of course, because there are some players there that are missing, and then guys like Kai are not yet fully ingrained into the system. So that's one thing that they have to improve on their offensive execution. And then I'm sure they will also point out and in their film viewing last night, unang-una titignan nila doon what were their defensive lapses. There are some things that are too technical to discuss here, but I'm sure they are going to point that out. And si Tab na unang magsasabi sa mga players, hindi nila pwede biruin yung Indonesia bukas. They have to come out and they have to be very, very serious about Indonesia tomorrow. And people are saying, okay na, pasok na naman tayo. Hindi naman talaga natin, hindi naman FIBA Asia yung ating pinupuntirya dito Yes, pasok tayo dyan. But we're here for the long game. We're playing the long game. So every game is a growing situation. So and ang sa akin from my vantage point watching the team, I'm just looking for indicators that they're growing, that they're improving every game. Yun ang babantayan natin.
Coach, pahabol na lang. TNT update naman, Coach. Baka may sa mga viewers natin na inaabangan yung team ninyo. What's the latest?
Ayan, tulog lahat kasi pagod pangatlong ensayo. Pangatlong ensayo na ngayon. We had a morning practice 7 to 9. Tapos diretso sila sa weights. So now this is our third session, second time sa court. And then mamaya pagbalik namin sa hotel, syempre we will do our other mental training and team building stuff. Pero in terms of update, we're still a long way from being competitive dahil sinabi ko na to dati. Yung ibang team nagpa-practice eh. Kami hindi pa kami nagpa-practice eh. Natututo pa lang kami. Wala pa kami sa stage na practicein na natin yung sistema namin. Some teams, they have maybe 1-2 new players but their systems are already intact. Kami hindi. Ngayon pa lang namin pinapasok. Ngayon pa lang namin binubuo eh. Ngayon pa lang kami nagkakaamuyan, nagkakakilalahan. So, we're still quite a long way. Kaya nagtsatsaga kami talaga dito kasi we really need the practice time.
Pero coach, advantageous daw yung nasa bubble kayo eh. You don't have to travel from Batangas to Manila, yung mga ganon. What's your take on that?
Yeah, plus we're getting more practice time. But like I said, for us, hopefully it will get us to the same level as the other teams. Kasi nga, layo ng pinanggagalingan namin dahil daming eh, di ba? So, ang dami pa naming kulang in terms of sistema, opensa, depensa. Sakit pa namin sa mata maglaro. Pag nakutin lang, hindi televised yung practice. Kundi, masasakit talaga yung mata mo. Ililipat mo yung channel.
Hey. Coach, on behalf of the staff, maraming salamat for again taking some time sa for us today, and good luck sa TNT campaign in the Philippine Cup.
Thank you. Mabuhay kayo.
Coach, maraming salamat, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Stay safe, Coach.
Thanks, Coach Dot.
Yun. Ito, medyo star-studded yung natin From tayo lang, naging star-studded,
Zoom in talaga, sir.
Hindi. Kuya Carl, may nag-chat sa akin bakit daw hindi zoom in? Kasi marami tayong kinausap eh. Pag zoom in, isa lang yung kinakausap natin eh.
Hindi pwede.
Pero I'll take the time na lang din. Ang daming nanonood sa atin. Kanina pa nag-chat sa mga mga coaches. Usually, si Coach Ryan Petian ng FU and si Coach Elias Aguilar ng TAC. Laging nanonood yan sa atin.
Ryan Petian, nasa staff ni Coach Chot yun, di ba?
Oo. Tsaka proud yan dun sa bata niya, si RJ Abarientos. Kakwentuhan ko. Masayang-masaya siya.
Tama na kayo, tawagan kaya natin si Coach Rai.
Tingnan natin.
Si Coach Rai naman,
Mahihain eh.
Oo nga. Ano yan? Cebu yan, di ba?
Cebuano.
Pero boss, going back dun sa discussion natin, siguro one person na hindi pa natin napag-usapan na medyo nakakuha ng maraming kritisismo yung inclusion nitong si Matt Nieto dun sa Gilas pool. Na sinasabi nila, bakit si Matt Nieto sinama dun sa, even nung 2019 na draft pool pa para sa Gilas, na parang syempre, everyone was looking at Matt Nieto being siya yung playmaker, and then sinasabi nila, bakit kailangan isama? Baka mamaya package yan dahil Kampal. But nakita nyo naman yung effort nung mama kahapon na really diving for the loose balls and really doing the dirty work. And kausap ko nga yung dati nating writer, si Christian, na parang si Christian na dito. Sabi niya, Matt Nieto has truly proven his worth, and kung sino man yung nagko-question kung bakit naisama si Matt Nieto doon si Mike Nieto doon sa lineup, siguro enough proof na yung kagabi, because ang kailangan ho kasi talaga natin dito, more than the stars, is yung mga players na kayang mag-adapt o naiintindihan ng gusto yung sistema na gustong ipagawa ni Coach Tabalbi. So really, I think it's a great credit dun sa naging laro ni Mike Nieto, na even though he wasn't scoring much, he's really doing the positive things para sa Gilas.
Oo, ibang klase yung Mike Nieto, I agree. Dolph. Tsaka siya yung unang silang dalawa ni SJ Belangel ang unang pumalag, tama di ba yung corner 3 nung di ba, yung corner 3 nung Mike Nieto, di ba? Tapos yung nagkikipag-away na yung SJ Belangel. Before that, minamama yung mga players natin, and I'm sure Coach Tab realized it kagad, di ba? Kaya sinasabi niya, yung ina-emphasize niya nung una pa lang is the physicality of Korea, di ba? Kasi makikita mo, katanggap pa lang ng bola ng mga Gilas players, the Korean players were in their faces, di ba?
Sure,
and nung may isang pumalag, Ganun naman yung mga ano eh, alam mo yung mga college spirit, di ba? Kumbaga, di ba, alam mo ba yung mga frat war, di ba? Ewan ko ngayon kung may frat war pa. Pero yung mga frat war sa college, saka sa high school, may tinatawag silang starter, di ba? Jed, di ba? May ayan, starter lang ano yan. Starter, di ba? Last night, it was SJ Belanguel who was the starter for Gilas. So, di ba, Carl?
Yes, sir. So, basa muna tayo ng comment. Ito from our, again, from our former managing editor and the numbers guy, Omar Glenn Bello. Balti, Carl Tamayo, Will Navarro, who had the second highest plus-minus behind Kwame. Those three give us 3 agile, two-way threats sa wings with enough size to compete and contend for years to come sa world level. Yes. Ito, may tanong dito from Ton Pagunsan. Mga sirs, curious lang bakit nawala po sa lineup si Kemer Carino.
Dolph?
Injured. to cut the long story short, injured. Actually, sinabi rin naman ni Coach Tab yan na yung mga injury sa lineup nila made yung decision making nila kung sino yung isasama, kung sino yung ila-line up. It really made it easier. Easier in a sense na sa pagkata, pero kumbaga kung full slate, full health lahat yan, I think there's a puncher's chance. We've seen Kemer Carino's caliber in San Beda and doon sa brief na naglaro siya doon sa second window sa Manama. Marami pang kakaining bigas, parang si Jeo Chu, parang karamihan ng younger bigs natin. Pero yun nga yung punto ko ng programa dito development ho ito, and we have to trust the process of Coach Tab. Masaya na nanalo tayo, pero let's give them time to develop.
Ayos, ito. From June, from Boy Sukat, June Rillo, di nyo ba napansin nagpapanalo ang lahing Pilipino sa larangan ng sports? Pacquiao, Hayden Diaz, Wesley So, Alex A. Ito. Obiena, billiards players, Donaire, and Gilas basketball. We really need this positive atmosphere in the middle of global crisis due to COVID-19. Thanks to a lot of our athletes, sports officials, and sponsors for inspiring the all Filipinos. Go, go, go para sa bayan.
Hoy, Jun Rillo, sumusobra ka na. Sobra sikat ka na.
Diba, sapat. Sa YouTube naman tayo, maghanap tayo ng comment dito.
Ako, Carl, mayroong isa rito.
Sige, sir.
Tinatanong si Sir Ben Dolph, what can we expect from Jordan Heading siya? May mga unfamiliar fans with the guy. What can we expect from? Ako, kahit ako, di ko pa nakita nila naglaro. What can we expect from the guy? Ben Dolph?
Ako, based lang doon sa sinabi ni Coach Tab, no, na parang sabi ni Coach Tab kasi we can expect him to be a leader, no, in this sa kanilang kampanya, no. Si Jordan Heading nga medyo unfamiliar, but based doon sa sinasabi ni Coach Tab, medyo impressive siya, and siguro what I can say is siguro itong si Jordan may konting perimeter game din ito, so I think we can expect that to see that, no, yung kanyang shooting, no. But Randot, siguro mas may idea ka kay Jordan Heading, no, being around with Gilas.
Actually, I'd have to agree with Sir Ben. Nakita natin yung flashes of brilliance ni Jordan Heading nung time niya sa San Miguel Alab, Pilipinas in the APL. He's a dead shot shooter again. Ano ba tawag dito? Kakaiba yung shooting form. But that's not the best shooting form, but what matters most is kung ma-shoot niya. And you have to understand, yung papalitan niya home spot doon sa lineup would be yung spot nitong si JD Tungkap. So, he will split time with SJ Belanguel, Dwight Ramos, and RJ Aparientos when it comes to the playmaking duties. But definitely, he will give Gilas Pilipinas a boost on the offensive side in terms of yung sa 3-point shooting. And sa depensa na rin, magandang magandang defender, a solid defender ito si Jordan Heading. So I hope na we can see more of him tomorrow. I think he's one of the more experienced in age sense. Isa siya sa mga pinakamatanda sa lineup na to at 28, 29. So at least kahit papaano, hindi na mamamalahibo as much ito si Jordan Heading. And remember, he's a former Gilas youth team member. So hindi nakakaiba sa kanya yung pagsusuot ng Gilas Pilipinas jersey.
Then speaking of debutants, nakakalimutan ko rin tanongin si Coach Joe about Gio Chu, di ba? So we'll see if he'll get some playing time tomorrow and kung ano ba magagawa niya kay Lester Prosper kung
Carl,
dalhin Brad.
Lang konti kay Gio Chu. Medyo ako I have to admit medyo project pa si Gio Chu, no? But being in this program would really help him, no? And teaming up with Kai Soto, maganda rin yan dahil actually teammates din sila nung Ateneo Blue Eaglets.
High school di ba, Ben, no?
Cool. So, but Yochu, medyo kailangan pa niya ng konti pang improvement in this game. But we'll see.
Feeling ko spot minutes, Sir Ben. Although, one positive that we can look at kay Yochu, siguro, some people may have seen him noong Gilas Youth and even yung Blue Eaglets and spot minutes sa Ateneo. Nakita ko medyo nag-trim down ng konti itong si Gio Chua. So that's really a positive na he can bring na kumbaga pambarog ba yung tawag natin na pwedeng makipagpakpakan lalo na kung kalaban mo mamang-mama na Lester Prosper sa gitna.
Oo, pero again, daming na-mention nga natin sa last POV natin yun na para expect the unexpected and it happened, actually it happened nung last time, no. So yung si Gio Chu, maybe tingnan natin kung what he can bring to the team doon sa game nila.
Ito basa mo tayo ng
Yes, yung show YouTube, Carl, no? Dami pala.
Yes, sir. May mga comments din. Dami, parang dumami nga yung comments namin sa YouTube eh. More than 100 people are watching right now. So ito from
Salamat sa inyo.
John Carlo Domayan. Solid talaga yung laro kagabi ng team. Lahat gumawa, walang naging pastar, lahat sila role player. For me, mas magiging solid lineup natin sa OQT. Imagine pag nakasali sila Juan GDL, Abando 3D, Nonoy Edo. Pero hindi natin sure kung makakasali nga sila. But imagine nga kung makakasali sila dun. Ito, basa pa tayo.
Kuya, mag-update lang ako ng konti since nabanggit na natin yung pool heading to the OQT. I think si Matt Nieto, who was recovering from a hand injury, nakausap natin siya kagabi. We asked him about SJ Belangel being his junior. Sabi niya, next training camp ng Gilas, immediately after this Clark bubble, he will rejoin. And I think si Alin Bulanadi, who is recovering, I think he was supposed to be cleared nitong June from a shoulder injury back in October, is also set to be cleared. And also, I think Reyes Huerta is ready to get back kasi sprained ankle naman yung naging issue niya during the training eh. So medyo may mga madadagdag tayo, not to mention yung mga expected nating madadagdag like sila Terdy Ravena and kung sino pa yung pwede idagdag ni Coach Tam. So mas madadagdagan tayo ng weapons pagdating sa OQT. Although kung ano man ho yung nakikita natin dito sa third window, positive na start na ho ito para sa ating team. And ang magandang bagay lang ho, nabubuo yung chemistry ng team natin.
Oo nga pala, Carl, no? Medyo mas matindi yung competition for places, no, Je? Pagdating ng OQT, no? At saka I think I expect the team to get a little older pagdating doon kasi mga mama yung kalaban mo doon. So, I think granted na yung medyo tatanda yung team diyan. Carl?
Yes, sir. Ito, may mga na-compile pa si Jam na comments from YouTube. Questions pala. Ito from Choi Time. Ba't di po ginamit si Javi? Maganda pinakita po sa second window.
Sol?
Mabilis na sagot. Coach's decision mo.
Oo nga. Medyo nakita ko rin yung tweet niya. Medyo, I think he's a little disappointed. But ganun naman yung di ba? Ganun naman yung mga coach's decisions.
Ito, meron pa. From Clark Chavez. Good day mga idol. Tanong lang, bibitawan na ba ni Coach Tab ang pagiging head coach na sa Ateneo? Para full-time job niyo na ang pagiging head coach ng Gilas.
Je, ikaw nga, Je. Explain mo yung dynamics of the situation pagdating kay Coach Tab.
Hindi ako, personally, dapat bitawan niya na. Especially if he will be the one to handle na yung 2023 team natin. And I think siya na no? Program niya na nga yan So, para tuloy-tuloy na, mas focus, mas concentrated siya dyan, no? Siguro, alalayan niya na lang yung Ateneo. Tapos ibigay niya na, I think Sandy Arispocachaga would make a very good coach ng Ateneo Blue Eagles.
But I think that decision will be made by one man and one man only.
Oo nga, totoo yan, totoo.
That's MVP.
Yes.
In the first place, well, after nung remember yung brawl sa di ba? Was that 2019 Ben, di ba? Yung Australia brawl na medyo nagka-crisis yung Philippine team, yung Gilas Pilipinas. There was already the clamor to bring back Tab kasi di ba? Di ba? Napunta kay Coach Jong, di ba? Napunta tayo kay Coach Tim, napunta tayo kay Yeng, di ba? Coaching. So there was a clamor to bring back Coach Tab, especially nagpapanalo si Ateneo, di ba? But now you know who made the decision for Coach Tab to stay sa Ateneo, and he will be the one. He will be the same person who will make the decision on that, yung sinasabi natin. But I agree with Jerry. I think it's time for Coach Tab to move on. Di ba? Remember, SPIN was the first one to bring up that topic, di ba? Yung story natin from Tommy Manotok, di ba? Tapos Tommy Manotok saying na medyo mismatch na yung di ba? Medyo mismatch na yung labanan sa college game because of that.
Parang batang Gilas yata yung gusto niya ipa-coach si Tab.
Oo, di ba? So,
for starters.
Natin, baka nanonood sa atin si Boss MVP, di ba? Nakumbinsin natin.
So, from more questions from YouTube. From Rob Andrew Lodong Yapon. Mga sir, pag-usapan niyo naman si bonafide superstar Dwight Ramos. O nga naman.
Oo, ito rin si Jeff C. Sabi niya, kay Dwight Ramos pa din talaga ako nagugulat. Kahit nakita ko na siya maglaro sa last window. Sobrang galing talaga. I agree. I think he's the number one player in that team, no doubt. Hanggang ngayon. Isipin mo, 6'5". Baka di nyo medyo yung mga ibang nanonood na hindi masyadong familiar sa Gilas, medyo hindi nyo alam, 6'5" ho yan. So, kung baga sa mga 70s, mga kasi laki ho yan ni Albert Gidaben, tsaka malaki pa kay Mon Fernandez yan. Now, point guard ho yan, kasi baka di nyo napapansin kasi kasama niya 7'3", 7'4", si Kai. Kasama ho niya isipin mo, do sa starters kahapon, isipin mo si Ange Kwame, 6'10", 6'11 na, di ba? Si Baltasar, mga 6'9 na, akala nyo si Dwight Ramos is mga 6-footer, 6'1". Hindi ho, 6'5" ho yan. At ganun ho gumalaw. So, you get a grip kung gaano kagaling yung Dwight Ramos. Pero more than the size, I think yung advantage niya, napaka-kalmang maglaro. Di ba? Napaka-level-headed na tao even when he talks. Pero, di ba, kahit noong remember, may mga previous interviews na tayo with Coach Chot, di ba? Coach Chot, Coach Yeng nung World Cup, di ba? Tapos, Coach Jong, di ba? They emphasize yung kailangan, we need size in that point guard position para to be competitive overseas. Kasi yung problema natin ng mga panahon ni Johnny Barrientos, with Jimmy Lapag, with pagdating ho sa depensa, agrabyado na kagad tayo sa point guard position kasi palaging yun ang point of attack ng mga kalaban. You have to compensate defensively. Each time meron kang maliit na point guard, like in this case, yung RJ Barrientos, di ba? At napakalaking luxury sa mga Gilas teams ang may point guard na ganung kalaking size. Isipin nyo ho, point guard natin, Dwight Ramos, kahit American point guard, di ho tayo agrabyado sa size pagdating kay Dwight Ramos. Di ba, Doc, no?
Boss Dwight gives Gilas a different perspective na hindi natin nakikita dati. Nabanggit mo nga yung big guard. Usually kasi sanay tayo na yung pinakamalit na player sa sa court, yun yung nagdadala ng bola eh. Pero I think Gabe Noruda's back that conventional wisdom nung ginagamit siya as a point guard. So we shouldn't really be surprised. And the thing with Dwight Ramos is, ano ho yan eh, kumbaga, nabanggit nga ni Boss, matagal na hong minamata ni Coach Chot yan para sa national team. And although hindi nag-pan out, we'd like to call it, yung naging career niya sa States, collegiate career niya sa States, he's really an absolute player na actually, I think it's safe to say naglalawa yung mga Atenista. Hindi lang ho dahil pogi yung Dwight Ramos pero dahil magaling ho talaga yan. And actually, meron niya ako nakitang tweet na meron daw posibilidad na pagdating ng UAAP season, posible na apat na player na pinamagaling doon sa first five, hawak ng Ateneo. Center, Kwame. Guard, SJ Belangel. Dwight Ramos. And then wing, may David Defonso ka pa. So meron kong maganda hong simula yan. And again, going back to Dwight Ramos, he's really prepared for this. If feeling nyo fluke yung naging performance ng Manama, ito, I think it's enough proof na, kumbaga, kung naghahanap kayo ng panibago nating Jason Castro, nahanap na ho natin with Dwight Ramos.
Oo. Diba?
So, nabanggit mo nga, Dolph, yung mga Ateneo players na full of Ateneo players sa lineup. Yan, let's talk more about that na, yun, maraming pa rin mga tao nagsabi na bakit ang daming Ateneo. But last night proved that players who know the system best deserve to be in their respective positions. So do you agree with that na parang na-erase yung mga doubts na kung bakit ang daming Ateneo players sa lineup natin?
Actually, kuya, hindi naman nawawala eh. Actually, merong mga rival UAAP school na officials, coaches na nakakausap tayo naman siya sabi, ang daya naman nakaka-practice ng maaga yung Ateneo. Isa lang ho na sinasabi ko sa kanila eh. Wala naman ho tayong tournament na pinaghahandaan eh. Wala pa hong UAAP na pagsisimulaan eh. So for the meantime, if it helps to improve the country when it comes to the international standing, yes, Ateneo may stand to benefit, but I think the same mentality goes nung time naman ni Coach Chote. You don't need to get the best players. You need to get the best team. And the best team that we have are the players who fully understand yung sistema na gustong patakbuhin ng coach natin at sistema na kayang magpatumba ng mga team katulad ng Korea, which would put us in a position to compete sa Asian level and hopefully sa OQT. So, kumbaga, compromise lang din ho talaga eh. Hindi naman may mga player ba ho kayo na gustong ipahiram sa Gilas at kaya intindihin yung sistema ni Coach Tam. I think they'll be more than willing to add those players. But at this position, medyo tiis-tiis muna ho tayo. Importante, we're getting the development, we're getting the results in the process as well. So, I mean, iisang bansa pa rin naman ho tayo eh. Pasensya na lang ho talaga doon sa mga Atenista. I think merong mga ibang school, lalo na yung mga naka-green, medyo naiinis lang konti. Pero pagdating naman ho sa FIBA competitions, iisang bansa ho lahat tayo.
Ben, ikaw Ben.
Kasi ako, yung maganda sa unang tingin na yung teams, yung mga members ng national team natin yung the best of the best sa amateur and collegiate ranks. Pero at the end of the day, yung sistema pa rin yung talagang magiging batayan kung sinong makakasunod, sino yung would execute it well. Tsaka matagal na rin usapan yan na marami nagsasabi, dapat all-star team ang ipadala sa mga international competitions. And based on past competitions, parang most of the time, hindi naging successful yung ganung formula na all-star team kumbaga. So I guess, ako tama lang din yung ginagawa ng programa na kung sino yung familiar sa system, at kung sino yung laging yung nandun na should be included in the pool, and then dagdag na lang. At the end of the day ba, ano bang gusto natin, di ba? Gusto naman natin manalo rin so yun naman so at the end of the day,
tama ka Ben.
Yun naman yun ang end product na gusto nating makita yung manalo and I think that's the right way to win. It's to put the players who understand the system.
Ayos. Ito, more comments from YouTube. Val Three Kings. Too early to celebrate but hats off to Coach Tab and Gilas team. Buti pa itong mga bata kayang talunin ang yung Koreans while yung pro natin hirap na hirap silang talunin. Ayun, parang kaya malakas din yung isang story natin kagabi na yung mga PBA players parang loading or uploading the performance of Gilas. So, do you think parang may mga comment na nagsabi, mas magaling pa yung mga wag na kayo kahit wag na kumuha ng mga PBA players. What do you think? What's your take on that? Ikaw, Sir Je.
Actually, yan, good problem yan siguro kay Coach.
Yes, tama.
Very good problem yan. Siyempre, sabi nga nila, ang best talent remains with the PBA, in the PBA, nasa PBA. But at the same time, dapat yung mga kukuning pipiliin ni Coach Tabu are the ones na makapaglaro rin and who will fit into his system. Yun nga yung sinasabi ni Ruben, no? So, malaking problema pero magandang problema para kay Coach Tab.
Oo.
Ang hirap i-balance niyan, Ang hirap i-balance niyan. Will you stick it out with this yung players natin ngayon, yung inaalagaan natin for 2023? Baka naman mamaya pag kumuha ka ng mga talents from the PBA, biglang magulo na naman yung sistema and adjustment na naman ang magiging problema nung team, no? So anyway, sabi nga natin, it's all up to Coach Tab to address the problem that is very good, no?
Pero ang dyan, tama kayo. It's a good problem kasi if you remember, 2015, the first time Coach Tab handled the national team. Isipin mo yung player niya, si Don Nontiveros, who was 38, 39 at that time. Asi was 40 plus, di ba? You know bakit? Kasi hindi naman masyadong natutuwa yung PBA sa kanya.
Yes.
Tama, di ba, Je?
Yes.
That was the reason na maraming na hold back ng mga players during that time. And now, isipin mo, mayroon siyang pool na ganyan. And he needs only to bring in a few more people. Hindi na wholesale, di ba? So, if you compare the situation from 2015 to now, I think mas maganda na yung sitwasyon ni Coach Tab. Tsaka narinig natin si Chot kanina, di ba? Ni-remind ako, di ba? Sabi niya, di ba, kailan lang wala tayong makuha wala tayong makuha player, sabi ni Coach Chot kanina, di ba? So now, meron kang whether you get, ang maganda rito, may backup plan ka na, di ba? Whether you get PBA players or not, meron kang magagaling na mga bottom players na able and ready to step in kung ano man na mangyari sa mga negotiations. I think that's the most important thing now. Pero just to warn you, coming into the next FIBA Asia Championship, ikaw siguro andiyan ka, magko-cover ka, di ba? Isipin nyo, medyo because of the euphoria of this win, baka nakakalimutan nyo yung mga merong diriyan yung PBA tsaka si Tab nung kaumpisahan ng pandemic about may mga comments na diba? We're not bringing this up to show diba? But that's the truth, diba? So if the decision comes na to top PBA players for the FIBA Asia Cup in Indonesia this August, medyo sa ayaw nyo at sa gusto, medyo may konting yan. May konting giriyan dyan. And hopefully, we'll be there to give you the news and hopefully it's the good one. Di ba, Jen, no?
Agree ako dyan.
Baka nakakalimutan nyo lang kasi medyo masaya tayo . Pero eventually, medyo may may epekto yan sa mga backdoor negotiations.
Yes. Tama.
May dito, light question sa FB from Michael John. Mga boss, bakit kapag naturalize ang mga China, Korea at Japan, pinapalitan ng pangalan? Raguna, from Ricardo Ratlis to
Ben?
Ang hula ko lang dyan, nasa batas siguro nila yan. Yun lang naman siguro yun. Simpleng
Parang Korea lang naman. Korea tsaka Japan lang. Pero I think, Sir Ben, parang more of preference na lang din, di ba? Naalala mo si JR Sakuragi, hindi naman yung talaga pangalan nun eh. Pero yung ibang import ng Japan yan, si Gavin Edwards, hindi pa sila nag-take ng Japanese name. Hindi naman ho nila fully kinakatwa yung pangalan nilang pero kumbaga they're adapting a Korean name. Parang mga lang yan mga Chinese sa Amerika, di ba? Meron sila ng Chinese name, meron sila ng Americanized name. So may mga ganun lang.
Kyle, merong dito nagtatanong talaga kanina pa Tsaka tingin ko maraming gusto Sagutin niyo naman sabi niya, si Jeff C. Nakalimutan natin si Lebron Lopez. What can we expect from Lebron Lopez? Siguro yun ang gusto niya
Hindi naman ho sa nakalimutan namin. Hindi pa ho kasi talaga naglalaro si Lebron Lopez. Bukas pa lang ho natin makikita si Lebron Lopez.
What can we expect from the guy?
Lebron Lopez is a 6'5", I think, a very athletic winger. I think dito papasok titingnan natin yung mga pwestuhan, sino yung papalitan niya, maybe Happy Gonzalez or Mike Nieto, since si Mike Nieto yung naglaro hapon. Athletic, definitely. Nag-bulk up, we can see his muscle, explosive, yes. Suspect pa ho yung 3-point shooting, but sana na-develop niya yung range niya. The thing with Lebron Lopez during his high school play with Ateneo High School, actually nasa Ateneo pa rin po siya ngayon, medyo gung-ho yung style niya. Gung-ho in a sense na I take the ball, ako bahala, and I'll find the way to make things work. Hindi ho ganun yung mangyayari ngayon sa Gilas Pilipinas because he's gonna be surrounded with players who are also equally able. So, knowing and seeing how the other players were able to adapt, he has to be selfless in that sense. Definitely, he'll be looked at as a reliable wing guy, or even he can even slide to a 1 or a 2 ball handler. Pero I think more than anything, depensa ho yung tatag sa depensa yung pinakailangan nating makita. Depensa and hustle. Medyo meager pa ho yung expectations natin, but if there's a wild bet na pwede kong iba to siguro, and given Indonesia naman yung kalaban natin, siguro naman we deserve one great dunk from Lebron Lopez. So yun, at least may highlights ho tayo na pwede nating abangan dun sa game bukas.
Okay. Ito from Baby Gab. Gabpe, may tanong sa Facebook. Mga sir, thoughts about sending the current Gilas pool for international training rather than relying on the PBA?
Yan ang medyo kailangan nilang gawin, but medyo tricky right now because of the pandemic. But pag gano'n na, Baby Gab, pag in due time siguro gagawin din, especially with the kung hindi naman, kung non-PBA players yung nasa pool, mas doable because of the walang restriction sa mother team, commitment sa mother team, di ba? Pero post-pandemic na siguro, Baby Gab.
Yun. Lampas na pala tayo, alas 3, Jam. Brad Jam, ilang minutes na tayo?
Medyo nasarapan si Boss Jam. Dapat alas 3 lang tayo. Binigyan pa tayong extension.
Okay. Babantayan ko rin yung Korea, Indonesia.
Medyo bugbog na. Pero hindi, lumalaban naman yung Indonesia. Pero medyo malayo na lang konti yung Pero sana bumalik pa.
A question from YouTube. RC Bautista. Nagko-comment rin ito sa Facebook. Any chances sa OQT yung sila Perez, Ravena Brothers, Kobe Oftana, Juan GDL at Ken Taffin makalaro sa Gilas?
30 pa. Baka sakaling pumasok yan because of the knowledge of his knowledge of tab system. No, doon.
Baka 30 at one, boss. But definitely the PBA players like sila Keeper medyo roll out na natin. And we have to understand yung full ho na ginagamit ni Coach Tab ngayon from their trainings back in February. Actually, hindi na back in February kasi may PBA pala nun. Back in March hanggang sa dinla niya ngayon sa third window. Yung all amateur, yan na ho talaga yun. May mga madadagdag na lang ho, like yung mga nabanggit nating injured, like sila Pat Nieto, sila Ray Suerte, sila Aling Nadi. Hopefully, si 30 Ravenna would be a big boost, but if you're gonna look at the PBA players, medyo negative na po.
Tapos Carl, meron dito, Resty B. Flores. Sir Jerry is correct, sabi niya. Coach Tab should focus on Gilas. Coach Sandy should take on the Ateneo coaching mantle. And as mentioned by Coach Tommy Manotok, overkill si Coach Tab sa UAE. Tapos mayroong nagtatanong si Mark naman, Mark Allen, sabi niya, sino sa tingin niyo susunod na Gabe Norwood ng Gilas, sabi niya. If you missed the interview with Chot Reyes a while back, Chot precisely said kanina na as early as the Gilas 23 for 23 pool, they were already grooming Carl Tamayo to be the next Gabe Norwood of Gilas. And judging from the way Carl Tamayo played last night, I think they were correct. Agree ba, Ben?
Yes, agree.
Carl?
Yes, sir. Ito, another question from RC Bautista. Pabor ba kayo na ilagay sa PBA at gawing developmental team ang Gilas? Gayahin yung style ng G-League Ignite para matuloy ang progress. Sinasagot.
Ako, agree ako doon. Pero it's easier said than done. Nabanggit na nga ni Labos kanina na yung mga, may mga kwento sa loob na hindi natin masyadong alam Pero that would be a good idea na kung natatandaan nyo yung NCC nun, yung Northern Consolidated naglaro. And even won a championship in the PBA, no? So ako, agree ako doon. It would, aside from training yung Gilas natin, panibagong naman yon, parang a spice, different spice to the league, no? Seeing those young players play in the PBA. But let's see. Basta ako, easier said than done yan.
Ako rin, Sir Ben, agree. Pero aside from the PBA problems, baka mamaya the players may run into conflicts dun sa UAAP and NCAA and same dun sa mother schools nila. So medyo mahirap dyan. Baka mamaya ma-injured si ganito, si ganyan. And kung matuloy man, actually I think it's more doable kasi nasa pandemic time tayo. Hindi makakabiyaya internationally yung Gilas. Ang sana lang kung matutuloy, baka iwas tayo ng parang Winnie Arboleda ulit. Sana wag na mangyari yun. Kasi national team na damit dun.
Oo nga pala.
Gilas nga pala yun.
Ito, from another, ito thoughts ni, again, from Sir Omar Bello. Early, maybe too early thoughts. Mapapalaban tayo sa Indonesia bukas. This Indonesia team is not the Indonesia we used to know. Lumalaban sa Korea kahit tambak so far. The effort to push the pace and ball movement is there, getting open shots pa. Tricky.
Masaya yan, kaya nagko-comment yan si Omar Bello, masaya yan kasi nakita si Carl Tamayo kagabi. So, UP fight si Omar yan. Di ba? Pero meron din nagsasabi, may nagsabi itong, tama naman siya, Kuzan Aokiji, sabi niya, Carl, in my opinion, Carl Tamayo is more like RDO than Gabe Norwood. Tama rin,
Actually, may na-receive din akong ganyang comment kahapon na parang RDO ang laruan itong si Carl Tamayo, which is, medyo agree rin ako dahil actually kahit nung bago pa siya mag-Gilas, medyo may glimpse na rin siya ng a player who not only can back to the basket player but who could shoot from the perimeter, just like RDO.
Oo, yung unang tres na binitawan niya, ang ganda ng pagkaka-release Akala mo talagang
Pero ako, mas nabilib ako dun sa yung slashing move niya Randot, naalala ko ba? Actually, dun talaga ako yung parang nagulat dun sa, because dati wala siyang ganung laro like Coach Joe said, back to the basket kind of player siya, pero nung nag-slash siya at nakascore ng layup, doon talaga ako medyo na-surprise dun sa galaw ni Carl Tamayo na yun.
Oo, tsaka but I think he's quicker than RDO, that's for sure. Now, if he's as quick as Norwood, that we have to see, but I doubt it. There you go, And, tignan natin kung kasing talas ba ng siko ni RDO yung Carl Tamayo. Baka Pag di matala sa siko nito, medyo nakakaya kay Agdio naman.
Diba, tama lang, boss, kasi si Gabe, kumbaga, started as guard, tapos kumbaga, dito na lang din naman naglaro ng wing yan eh. Si Carl, baliktad eh. Big yan, bumababa unti-unti sa pagiging wings. But yun nga, magandang bagay na ginagawa niya nung final year niya with NU Bull Pops. Actually, luxury of having a Kevin Kiambao. May luxury siya to be a stretch four and to really develop that 3-point shot. So, mas swak talaga ho yung RTO than Gabe Noro. At least for me.
Parang ang tanong dyan kung si Coach Tab ba yung re-require or nagsasabi sa mga players niya to adjust to the international game. Gaya nung kay sino ba yun? Si Isaac Goata tsaka si Balti. Si Balti, di ba? Parang he's a traditional or he's a big man in college but he's starting to adapt to being a wingman sa international game. So, kung ganoon din ba kaya yung kay Carl Tamayo na sinabihan siya ni Coach Tab to adjust or was it Carl Tamayo's willingness or desire lang talaga na kailangan ko na mag-adapt kasi iba talaga yung laro sa international game, di ba?
Partly, I think nung si Coach Gold is also trying him to be A4. Siguro ang input ni Coach Tab is downsizing him to be a 3. So at least yun, medyo safe tayo na, ayan talaga, tabal din input na small forward ka, hindi ka power forward.
Okay. Ito, basa pa tayo questions from Facebook. Ton Mangalaw. Sa linaro ni Kai Soto, kontento na ba tayo or mag-expect pa tayo na mas mataas na laro?
Ano yan, Kyle? Ang ano niyan is the kid is 19. The kid is 19. He's 7'4", diba? And he has bulked up. He has improved tremendously. He's getting the best training, diba? And as we saw last night, medyo malaki yung puso ng bata, diba? Kasi kinaldag-kaldag ni Ratcliffe nung first quarter, diba? And yet, he stood up. He picked himself up, and after a while, medyo he got in his own leagues, di ba? So what does that tell you? May puso yung bata, di ba? We've had mga giants in the past na hindi naman ganoon, di ba? If you notice, may mga malaki dyan na parang napipilitan lang mag-basketball, di ba? Napaka-rare na nga ng mga 7-footer sa Pilipinas, tapos makikita mo pa sila. Parang napilitan lang mag-basketball, di ba? This guy, he really wants to play. He loves playing, and he's determined to excel, di ba? And at this point in his career, na 19 years old pa lang siya, he's getting the best help available. I mean, he's training in the US, and now he's playing with Gilas, so he's getting the exposure, di ba? So I think win-win situation yung kay Kai. Of course, may limitation siya. As we see, medyo mabagal pa, and medyo he's not as forceful sa defense as you would expect a regular 7'3", 7'4" guy, diba? But let's cut him some slack. 19 years old, diba? He's going to get better. That's my take on Kai right now, and I'm optimistic he'll get there. Laki na, at saka medyo nagigibanggaan na. He's not afraid of contact for someone na ganun kalina. He's not afraid of contact. Yung 3 baskets na pinasok niya, he had to endure contact from Ratcliffe before making those. Diba? Naalala niyo. So, encouraging signs, but wag masyadong magpadala. Magpadala. Wag tayo masyadong magpadala. The guy is improving and is trying. And hopefully, he gets better and better. Good enough to stay in the NBA. I have no doubt na he'll make it. Siya, may height, may galaw, may touch, and he has 75 million Filipinos, so kung ilan tayong Filipino backing him up, following him on social media, so that would almost guarantee him a ticket to the NBA. Now the question is, can he stay there? Yun ang gusto kong makita, na he will stay there and he will, like maybe Jordan Clarkson or some other, not a superstar. Hindi naman tayo choosy, di ba? Di ba, Doc? Hindi naman tayo choosy, Doc, di ba? Well, you see him play, di ba? get a solid and respectable 10, maybe 8, 10-year career there. Tapos yung finish mo, ba? Masaya na tayo doon. Meron na tayong NBA player, legit NBA player, homegrown. Diba? What more can you ask for? Diba? Carl?
Yes, sir.
Ikaw, Je.
Yes, sir, Je.
Siguro ako madagdag ko lang din yung kay Soto. Siguro what impressed me the most kay Kai is yung ability to absorb contact eh. Meron siyang mga galaw nung last game na kung siguro kung lanky player na binangga ka ni Ratlip titilapon ka eh.
Oo,
there was a play kagabi na kinontak siya and then he had yung kumbaga yung composure niya to hit that shot. Ewan kung tatandaan niyo yung drive to the basket niya na binangga siya ni Ratlip pero he still was able to have the composure to shoot that left-handed na shot niya So I guess yun yung pinaka na-impress ako kay Kai, yung ability to absorb contact and be composed to make that shot.
Agree, Ben. Agree ako. Maganda yun. And I think there was a deliberate effort on Korea's part to nakaldagin si Kai, buta another players. Kasi pag ganyan parang dayo ka di ba? May mga bata yan, mga manipis yan, buta kaldagin yun, di ba? And then for a while, it worked, di ba? But when they gathered their composure, di ba? It's a different story.
Tsaka yung pagiging ambidextrous niya, di ba? He can shoot with both hands. Yun yung that can siguro pahirapan na konti yung defenders na hindi alam kung saan siya titira. Parang he has learned to I know he's di ba left ata siya siya dominant but he has started to be more parang mas okay yung kanyang right hand na to make his shots.
No, agree. But yun, na-polish siya sa station. So, local, di ba? So, you can see that the US training is paying off, di ba?
Yes, sir. So, aside from Kai, what do you think else Gilas can improve on or based from last night's game? Tingin nyo ano pa yung nakita nyo mga medyo negative na pwede nilang i-improve tomorrow and the following games?
3-point shooting, obviously, di ba? Yeah. But ang dyan is wala yung Ray Suerte, wala yung Bulanadi, wala yung Matt Nieto. Ang galing yung 3-point shooting Matt Nieto, di ba? Sabi ni Dolph nung POV natin ng Martes, RJ Abarientos is maganda yung 3-point shooting, di ba? Pero nung kagabi, muntik pa tayong ipahamak yung medyo isang 3-point lang ni RJ na medyo alanganin, di ba? That was the time that from 75-70 nakabalik yung di ba?
Gusto na home run, boss eh. Gusto na mag-dagger.
Oo, pagkatapos nun nakabalik yung Korea di ba? That's a ill-judged attempt that you expect once in a while from a player as young as RJ Abarientos, di ba? But kung di ko pa napanood masyadong bata, pero sabi ni Randolph may outside shooting. So isipin mo yan, kung may RJ ka, may Ray Suerte, may Bulanadi, may Juan Gomez Liliano perhaps, di ba? May maganda lang yung 3-point shooting even kahit walang dyan, kahit walang PBA player.
Okay.
Ikaw, Dor.
Ako, boss, linis na lang. Ang dami natin turnovers ng first quarter, first half, kaya tayo nabaon ng matindi. I charge it to growing pains, namamalahibo kumbaga, and nakita naman natin na Gilas was able to adjust. But definitely, against Indonesia, against a team na almost half of their players were part of Satria Muda Pertamina na nag-champion, kumbaga kondisyon, galing dun sa local league nila sa IBL, hindi natin afford na malubog ng malaki. Especially, Indonesia yung kalaban natin. Kumbaga, kahit na sabihin natin mas experience sila, mas may pride pa rin yung Pilipinas at kumbaga dapat natatambakan natin yan. And I am confident to say na hindi naman siguro mangyayari yun. Huwag lang tayo maging overconfident, especially after this win.
Sir Je, would you like to add?
Ako agree ako kay Dudes, I think yung 3-point shooting, outside shooting in particular, if historically if you look at the history ng Philippine basketball, we always strive on mga perimeter shooters, no? From the time of Bogs Adornado, of course Alan Kaidik, sila Chip Engeland, to the modern days sila Jimmy Alapag, Larry Fonasher, Jeff Chan, no? So I think given our height, and of course meron na rin naman tayong threat, no, na may mga malalaki na rin naman tayo, but I still believe na parang parang Korean tayo, no. Yun yung weapon natin, yung special weapon natin, yung making our shots from the outside, no. So agree ako kay Dudes doon na yun ang kailangan talaga natin. At the same time, syempre yung chemistry, yung familiarity. Remember, this is the first game pa lang naman nung pool na to, nung Gilas pool na to, no. So eventually as time goes by, madi-develop din nila yun. And alam naman natin, chemistry plays a big part in terms of team success, no. Carl?
Yes, sir. Ito, may tanong si Michael Jan. Mga boss, sino yung bago ng Indonesia? Yung Agassi ba yun?
Andre Agassi.
I think Aziz, yan yung mga bagong dagdag nila yan from there. Actually, you have to consider yung pool ni Coach Raiko, pinalaro nila yung national team pool. Basically, kung ano yung idea na gusto niyo mangyari para sa Gilas pool na to, ginawa ni Raiko Toroman yun. Nag-compete yung mga batang players ng Indonesia doon sa local league nila. Actually, kasama yung 2 Senegalese na bata. So, kumbaga, those players na meron sila ngayon, on top of adding the top players ng Indonesian basketball, yan talaga yung talagang ginawang collection ni Coach Raiko. Yung Aziz na binabanggit niyo ngayon, I think siya yung top performer para doon sa Indonesia Patriots pool na pinalaro nila. And ngayon, I think nakikita nyo doon sa laro nila against Korea. So, nasanay kayo, sila RQEs, no? Sila Grahita lang yung gumagawa. Yan na rin yung kumbaga, ito kasi third window talaga. It was an opportunity for all nations to really immerse yung kanilang young guns. Hindi lang tayo, even Korea, even China, even Japan, na sinasabak na talaga nila yung young players sila. Kumbaga, pundasyon na rin nila para sa future.
Hirap yan. Pag Andre Agassi, baka biglang lumabas out of retirement si Pete Sampras.
Depos, tsaka wala pa yung Derek Michael Saviero ng ng Indonesia kasi nasa NBA Global Academy sa Australia. So, kumbaga, hindi ho tayo pwedeng maging complacent na tayo lang yung nag-invest sa bata natin because the other Asian nations are also adapting to the times. And syempre, Indonesia, gusto rin tayong pataupin sa Southeast Asia niya.
Sa August, andun yung sino kaya ko-cover sa atin? Siguro mga pagsasawa sa nasi goreng tsaka sa di ba, Je? Nasi goreng tsaka ano ba yung nila? Yung sigarilyo.
Tangbir.
Oo, siyempre. 20,000 isang beer, Je, di ba? 20,000 yata.
Milyonaryo ka ron sa Indonesia.
Kasi bawat bunot mo bili ka lang ng isang beer. Mga 50,000 babayaran mo sa Indonesia.
Tubig nga doon, boss. 19,000 pagkakaalala mo.
Pero masaya yun. Sana the pandemic will ease. Payagan tayo mga cover doon, di ba? We can send someone there hopefully, di ba?
Okay.
Carl, close na natin. Medyo sumarap yung usapan natin. Sabi natin, isa't kalahating oras lang.
Mga parting shot na, Dolph, starting with you, what can you say about Gilas performance last night?
Again, masaya yung gising natin kaya hindi nawala yung ngiti sa mukha naming lahat dito. Even si Idols kanina na naipagbakbakan sa mga haters. And nakita niya naman sa lahat ng binisita natin kanina from Coach Jong, Coach Joe, and to Coach Chot. Masaya tayo na at least kahit paano nakakuha tayo ng panalo. But let's not forget the fact na we are on the early stages of this development pool. This is the tallest, this is the youngest national team pool. Marami pa akong kakaining bigas in their sense na nasa quest ko, nakita niyo yung stories ng SPP. Marami pang kakaining pizza yan. Mapapanalo o mapatalo. And sana mas marami namang panalo. But let's just keep the faith and like nga yung tweet ko kahapon, pagkatiwalaan ho natin yung sistema ni Coach Tab. We have him for the long haul. Sana makaiwas sa mga politika, pero again, all for the better of Gilas basketball, for Philippine basketball as a whole. And let's just keep supporting itong mga bataan natin sa Clark. And nood lang ho kayo ng mga games and comment lang din ho kayo sa mga susunod na POV dahil sigurado pag-uusapan pa ho natin yan kahit anong mangyayari sa Gilas team natin.
Salamat, Dolph. Ben, ikaw?
Ako, last time sabi ko rin, temper expectations regardless of whether we win or not. Same parting shot ako. Let's temper expectations. Still too early to tell. Siyempre, marami ding factors kung bakit natalo Korea and may factors din ba't tayo nanalo. But let's see the bigger picture, no. Ang programang ito ay para sa 2023 World Cup. Yun lang, and it's nice to see basketball again, no. Nakakatuwa. Let's enjoy this hanggang hanggang 20 pa. So yun na muna, enjoy naman tayo manood ng basketball, no. Huwag na muna tayo masyadong nega or what. Basta tayo. Enjoy this when it's still here. Dahil after 20, medyo baka wala na naman tayong basketball na makikita for a time, no. So yun, enjoy muna tayo. And good luck sa Gilas Pilipinas.
Thanks, Brad. Sir Je?
Carl, acknowledge ko muna si Dadsky Ramos watching from San Francisco Bay Area. Hello, thank you. And
Airpods yata ni Dwight yan, sir.
Wow, okay. Yes. Thank you, sir, for watching us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you po. And ako, ang parting shot ko, I think we should adopt yung same attitude nung Gilas coaching staff na after the euphoria, balik na uli agad sa sa drawing boards. Sabi nga ni Coach Chot kanina, it's a great win but we should not be complacent, no. Baka mamaya kasi tayong Pilipino may ganong attitude, no, na saglit na nagbubunyi na tayo agad. Of course, it's worth celebrating, but it's just the beginning, no. It's still a long journey to go. So eto, suportahan natin yung team natin. We still have 2 games to go sa qualifiers na hopefully we will be able to win. And I'm taking this opportunity to thank Coach Jong Wichiko, Coach Joe Silva, and Coach Chot Reyes for gracing today's special edition of SPIN.PH. Carl?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And Sir Doc, your thoughts?
As I said kanina, medyo games like this one, di tayo palagi nagbubunyi pag Korea, palagi tayong naiiyak. Medyo from Busan to medyo marami na tayong experience. So natural lang na magbunyi tayo after a win, especially with the way it was done. Diba? And sabi nga ni Jerry, tama siya na this is a good start for this batch of Gilas. May nag-comment nga din sa pages natin kahapon. I think it was Coach Rainer Shine, Coach Chris Gabila, parang sinasabi niya, the future is bright daw for Gilas. I beg to I think the future is now for Gilas. Future is now. And so maganda, and at the same time basketball na naman. Sabi nga ni Omar Bello, UP fight. Dahil kay Carl Tamayo, di ba? But next week po, balik na tayo sa regular na Zoom-in natin and guest natin si Coach Norman naman, who, as you all know, is the Meralco coach and at the same time, he's also part of this program. So we'll get more input siguro. And especially after yung by then tapos na yung so we'll get more input from Coach Norman naman. We'll see you next Thursday. Carl?
Salamat, sir. And ako lang, final word ko lang for all the fans, let's just be patient. Kumbaga, halftime pa lang kagabi, parang you've given up Gilas for dead, but they showed na they could come back and pull off the victory. And para sa atin lahat yun. So just be patient and makikita natin yung progress ng Gilas natin. Not just tonight, but in the games to come and especially in 2023. So just be patient and let's enjoy the basketball action while it's here, and sana magpatuloy na yung basketball sa atin. So yun, on behalf of our Spin staff and Idol Snow Badwa, Jam Mariano, who's our one-man production crew, and of course all our three guests today, Jong Wichiko, Joe Silva, and Chot Reyes. Maraming salamat sa lahat. My name is Carlos Sacamos. It's been my pleasure, our pleasure to conduct this special edition of Spin POV. Maraming salamat sa lahat at ingat po tayo lahat. Thank you.
Ingat. Salamat.
For everything about life beyond the game.
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 For everything about life
Beyond the game.
Visit SPIN.PH/life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
About life. For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
For everything about life
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. Visit SPIN.PH/life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game, visit spin.ph/life.
SPIN.PH/life.